been swallowed by withered roads, and the feathers and howls they still roam out like the trinkets of playful gods. Sharp red eyes follow trusted guise of a path through spike trees high. Smoke rise in the thick black skies, signal house and warmth are nigh. And with flicks and sticks lands a small black thing on a carpet of deadly white, and a golden stare still looks on to where. Good sir, see I have returned. May I sit by your side on this night? A smiling face gives the ghost her place, looming small by his tall built frame. No more stories to hear, he asks bright and clear, while his eyes kiss the lights of the flames. Stories here, stories there, stories fill the air, yet you freeze by this door still, my dear. I may be taken by death, yet my path's not set on a fixed place like you choose to be. No one comes, no one leaves, distant memories have been swallowed by withered roads. But my place lingers evermore on the guard which I have been bestowed. Silently they sit, drink, and keep the comfort of shared spent time. All my tales will be yours, she says, stern and hoarse, to share on a next bright night. Shall we drink to that day, to that one fine day, where your voice will be heard far and wide, and this frozen door will no longer hold its claws in your heart and your mind? Shall we toast to that day, to that one fine day, where the roads will be glistening in light?
Hello everybody and welcome to the stream. It's lovely to have you all here. Getting with some nice sad music to set the ambience. Holy crap. Siri Wolf, thank you so much for subscribing for the 11th month in a row. Welcome back to the House of Copperhounds. And Razzie Hime, beginning our stream with the old razzle dazzle. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs, bringing up your total on the channel to 70. Holy crap. Frezzy Grant, Lily Bones, Miliok, Kagomi Swan, and Anime Aria 3. Welcome back to the House of Copperhounds, and it's lovely to have you here. I'm no longer silenced. Nah. I finally decided to play the original intro again. I thought it was about time. Happy New Year, everyone. May I ask what that song was because it was beautiful? You may. We no longer have the command for it, but Ghost Chain Scatterer, who's in chat currently, wrote that song about Cúsleácrann and Twitch, her character, the Crow. So that song is called The Hound and the Crow, and it is by Ghost Chain Scatterer, about our stories. Thank you for saying it was sweet. I love that song too. I can't get used to Buff Ku. You never will. It'll always take you by surprise. That's the point of it. He just pops out of nowhere and says, "Oh ho, hey, how you doing?" Swear I've never used a single one. A single what? Oh god. So I resorted to turning on Twitter notifications because Twitch is a disappointment. Yeah, Twitch is terrible. To be fair, I don't post too much on Twitter anymore anyway. It's pretty much just used for, hey, I'm going live and, hey, this cool thing happened. It's very rare. It's not like the old days where I would post every bit of Donghua news, so you're fine. You're fine. Finally caught the stream for once. What is up, Lily Ocho? I hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. Would love to join because it's the first time being here on Twitch, but I'm way too tired. Have fun, y'all. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Yuma. Have a good night. Yeah, we stream at weird times. In the future, we'll be streaming... Well, That'll be a different thing. But yeah, this schedule is kind of killing me too. The fact that it's like right after like nap time in the day, I guess I would call it. It's like prime nap time where I always start to get sleepy, and then right before dinner. So it's kind of a very calming time. It's not a great time to be bouncing off the wall and hype. But today is sad hours anyway. I can't stay because I didn't get caught up, but I'll be here for the next stream, I promise. That's cool, Zupalan. We won't be back tomorrow. I've got things to do tomorrow. I think I have things to do the day after too. So we'll have at least one day off, possibly 2 to 3. But yeah, we'll be back shortly after. We'll see how far we get tonight too, but we'll see you next time, Zupalan. And Zupalan also was the one who gave us the 10 merits. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. And Zuleone, saw you on. Thank you so much for following. Welcome to the House of Copper Hounds, and it's lovely to have you here. Today, we are diving into Book 2 of Urha. When we finished last week, it ended with our darling boy Mung Mung. Darling of the heavens, absolutely broken. Literally saying to Moran, "Grr, our Shizun is dead. We don't have a Shizun anymore. There is no Shizun at home." So this is going to be painful. I don't know where it's going to go from here. I don't know. The theory that I had at the end of last stream was that maybe Moran will charge off and do just what Mung Mung suggested of following Shizun's path, of seeing the blood on those over 3,000 stairs. But I don't know. So it's going to be interesting to see what exactly happens and how long it takes for them to bring Chuaning back. If he ever actually comes back in this lifetime, that's another possibility. There's always the possibility that this lifeline will be a redemption arc for our baby boy Moran. That this will be the lifeline where he does good, fixes his wrongs of Tashi Jun, and tries to save the world. And then maybe, if he does good enough, he'll get a third lifetime where he gets to be good to Shizun and protect baby boy Shimei, maybe? Maybe everything ends happy? Maybe everything not die? Maybe. The ship is sailing. Thank you so much for subscribing for the 11th month in a row. That's so sweet of you. Welcome back to the House of Copper Hounds. And Lucilla, thank you so much for resubscribing for the 11th month in a row. Welcome both of you back to the House of Copper Hounds. It's lovely to have you here. And Nini Nuna, thank you so much for the 1,000 merits. There's so many merits. Holy shit. Oh, the hearts are blowing up in chat. We have no system. Yeah, unfortunately, system's broken. System went to sleep. I have a YouTube, which is basically just Ghost Chain Scatterer. I may upload the song there too. You can totally do that too. And yeah, the goodbye song. You made a new goodbye song as well, which was beautiful. But with that said, I'm blind for this like Ku. Then we'll probably cry like babies. This is Meat Bun Ku, no happy times. This is my first Meat Bun story. I want to believe we'll get happy times sometime. Chapter 98. Shizun, I'm begging you. Please pay attention to me. Wait, what? Are we jumping back in time or something? Possibly. Chunyaning. Oh, and Dark Black Rose. Thank you so much for resubscribing for 14 months and 15 months respectively. It seems I've missed 2 screams. I'm sorry, Dark Black Rose. But welcome back. It's lovely to have you here. Welcome back to the House of Copper Hounds. Thank you so much for subscribing. We're going to be jumping into chapter 98, our first one from book 2. And F of B minus F of A. Thank you so much for following. Welcome to the House of Copper Hounds, and it's lovely to have you here. Mathematics again. My brain hurts. Ku is a meat bun virgin after all. Yeah. Yeah. This is taking my virginity right now. That feels very fitting. Popping the cherry. God damn it. With a fucking knife. With a fucking knife. Nana8493, thank you so much for resubscribing for the 14th month in a row. Welcome back to the House of Copper Hounds. It's lovely to have you here. And Babbling Bookworm, thank you so much for the 10 merits. I really wanted to get away from that phrase I said, so let's do this. Sushang Peak has a cliff with a funny name called... There were lots of stories in the sect as to how this name came about. The most common one being that people often fell off of it due to how steep it was. Thus the name. But Moran knew that wasn't it. The truth was it's because that's where the original founders of Sushang Peak made their first baby. You see, it's not the Ah! Cliff. It's actually the cliff. Now you know. The War Cliff is the one that people fall off of. Nini Nuna, thank you so much for the 500 merits. Yo, the cup is overflowing with beating hearts now. What a friggin' knife. Don't even worry about that knife. The cliff rose high into the clouds. A difficult climb, even for apes. Not this song. This is too sad. That'll do. And it was extremely cold. Its peak covered in snow year-round. This was where the dead of Sushang Peak were kept while awaiting their funerals. He'd only ever come here once in his past life. That time wasn't much different from right now. It was also right after the Rift of the Infinite Hells, the bloody battle that ended countless lives, Shimei amongst them. Refusing to accept the reality, he had knelt by Shimei's coffin for days on end, gazing at his face inside, looking almost as if he wasn't dead at all. It's called from back when your dad passed away, was what Xue Zhenyong had told him as he kept him company in the cold of the Frost Sky Hall in the past life. I only had one brother. We founded Sushang Peak together. But your dad, he was just like you, stubborn. He barely even got to enjoy the good life, or maybe he got sick of it. But one slip against the demons and he was gone. It was freezing inside Frost Sky Hall. Xie Zhenyong took a swig from the sheepskin of wine he had brought before offering it to Moran. You can have some, just don't tell your aunt. Moran didn't take it. Didn't even move. Xie Zhenyong sighed. This cliff is called because I was so miserable in those days it felt like my heart had been dug out. All I did was stay here with your dad and cry. I sound pretty awful when I cry. Just howling like, And that's where the name came from. He glanced at Moran and clapped him on the shoulder. Uncle isn't well read or anything, but life is ephemeral like the morning dew over in a blink. Just think of it as Mingjing having gone on a bit ahead of you. You can be brothers again in the next life. Moran's eyes slid slowly shut. Xue Zhenyong continued. Condolences and whatnot are just words. If you're sad, then just cry. If you don't want to leave, then just stay and keep him company. But you have to eat and drink your water. Go get a bite at Mongpo Hall first, and you can come back here and kneel as long as you want. I won't stop you. Oh, his uncle's so fucking good, man. That's so sweet. Also, yes. Brothers as in, like, not real brothers. You get it. Sect brothers. The Cliff. Oh, God, you clipped that already. That's impressive. Nini Nuna, thank you so much for the 500 merits. And also, Kita9000, thank you so much for resubscribing for the 9th month in a row. Welcome back to the House of Copperhound. It's lovely to have you here, and thank you so much for joining us. Sorry, I can't take it too seriously. I think it would really hurt me if we actually just got a straight-up flashback to Xue Zhenyong crying for his brother. Because that is a character you wouldn't expect to see crying. And I imagine he will in the future. I'm surprised, well, we haven't seen him in this lifetime. He may be crying for Chu Wanning. That's going to be interesting to see. This isn't Shimei this time. This is Chu Wanning, a very good friend of his. Pretty much the only person who saw Chu Wanning as a friend. You want it a bit more quiet? Sure. I was actually going to change the song too to more of this. That should be good. There, it'll be quieter. Oh man, these stories in which apparently funny things have sad roots. Pretty perfect. Pretty perfect way to crush the soul later on. Suspicious user. Interesting. Even stupid Cliff has sad backstory. Everything is pain. Daddy Peacock rules. Yeah, he's here to save us. And Nymphadora2408, thank you so much for the 20 merits. Hype train completed at level 3. Thank you guys so much for the hype train. You're all so sweet. Let's hope this chapter doesn't crush us too much. Frost Sky Hall was frigid and silent. White silk drifting lightly within the grand hall, like gentle fingers brushing the brow. Moran opened his eyes slowly. The coffin was the same as the one in his memory, cast from the black snow of Kunlun, lustrous and translucent. threads of cold streaming from the surface. Only the one lying inside was now Chuan-Ning. Moron never would have thought that the one to die in the heavenly rift of this lifetime would be Chuan-Ning. He was taken by surprise, didn't know how to react. Faced with this person's ice-cold body, he actually didn't feel much of anything. Not joy from the death of his foe, nor grief from the passing of his Shizun. Moron stared at Chuan-Ning through lowered lashes for a long time, almost doubtful. His face looked even colder than usual, truly covered in a layer of frost now, specks of ice clinging to the lashes of his closed eyes. His lips were a pale blue, and his skin was nearly transparent, the light blue of the veins visible like minute cracks on porcelain. How could he have been the one to die? Moron lifted his hand to touch Chuan-Ning's cheek. It felt cold. His hand trailed down to his throat, his neck. There was no pulse. And then to his hand. He gripped his hand. The joints were already starting to stiffen, and the skin there felt rough. Moron thought it strange. The tip of Chuan-Ning's fingers were lightly calloused, but his palms had always been soft and delicate. He looked closer despite himself, only to see scores of lacerations, open cuts that, although cleaned, will never heal now. He remembered Shermung's words. Spirit or any... 1 minute. His spiritual energy was completely drained. He was no different from an ordinary person at that time. Couldn't use any techniques at all. Not even a communication spell. He could only carry you on his back and climb up the stairs of Sushang Peak step by step. And when he didn't do it anymore, couldn't stand anymore, he crawled on the ground on his knees, dragging him until his fingers were torn and his hands were covered in blood, all to bring him home. Oh, that's fucked. I forgot about that bit. That's where the lacerations came from. It wasn't even from the demons. It was just from bringing Moron home, from protecting him in the barrier. Oh, that's so fucked. Ouch, ouch, ouchie. Yeah. No, just what Ku read when you wrote that. Something went wrong. Ah. Are you telling me Lang Yi-jun wouldn't name a random cliff after the one he fell off the most? Probably, but it'd be more funny if it was a sex joke. Like, what if it was the cliff named... Because some dumbass had been like a giant and tried to use it as a dildo. Because technically, anything's a dildo if you're brave enough. Anything can fit an orifice if you're brave enough. It may not end well, but you can try. And therefore, that goddamn mountain has a good name. Don't be bullying my mountain. I see we started early today. What did I miss? Not much, just pain. Moron's gone to visit his dead Shizun. He's looking at him in a coffin. He's realizing how much he hurt. That's canon now. How dare you? Horny coping. I can horny cope as much as I want to. Cactus. I mean, anybody who could survive a dragon dildo can probably survive a cactus. I'm just going to say it. People are impressive. The human body is surprisingly resilient, is what I'm going to say. So, I'd say it's fair. This is the exact music I wanted. Moron muttered hollowly. Was it you who carried me back? That's not his voice. Empress, man. 1 second. 1 second. I've lost all my voices again. There we go. Was it you who carried me back? Chuan-Ning. Was it you? I won't believe it unless you nod, Moron said to the person in the coffin, his expression placid, as if certain that the person before him would wake up. Chuan-Ning, give me a nod. Just one nod and I'll believe you, and I won't hate you anymore. Just one nod, okay? But Chuan-Ning only continued to lie there, cold and expressionless, as if he didn't care the slightest bit whether Moron hated him or not. He himself had left with a clear conscience, leaving others to survive with their guilt. This person, whether alive or dead, was always more maddening than he was sympathetic. Moron suddenly sneered. And again, he said, when have you ever listened to me? Staring at Chuan-Ning, he suddenly felt that it was all so absurd. All these years he hated Chuan-Ning because he looked down on him, and the hatred deepened because he didn't have Shimei. Turning and twisting, this hatred persisted for more than 10 years. But one day, all of a sudden, he was told that when Chuan-Ning turned and left back then, it was to protect you. He was suddenly told that the discernment barrier is twinned. Whatever damage you took, he suffered the same. His spiritual energy was spent. He couldn't even protect himself anymore. Great. Just perfect. Chuan-Ning is right in everything he does. And what about him? Head in the dark like a know-nothing idiot? Running around in circles like a goddamn clown? Hissing and snarling in his hatred for so long? And for what? A brief misunderstanding is like a smudge of dirt on a healing wound. As long as it's discovered in time, washed off and the salve reapplied, everything will be fine. But if the misunderstanding goes on for 10, 20 years, and the person trapped in the web puts in endless hatred, too many cares, countless restraints, and even his life, these emotions will scab over to grow into new skin, forming a part of the body. Oh shit, that's written so fucking well! God damn, that perfectly explains the way Cuchallain Jun hardened up and became a complete and utter psychopath. To the point now where Moron's just like, you're not dead. You can't leave me, Chuan-Ning. Come on, quit acting. It's maddening that you're pretending to be dead. How could you? Oh, it's so fucking broken. No. Ghost Chain Scatterer got silenced? What happened? I don't think that's ever happened. Meat Bun is a queen. Meat Bun is fucking impressive at just destroying you with characters. Kids, talking to corpses is a bad sign. Don't believe them if they say they felt nothing. Yeah, sounds like bullshit to me. Is denial always strong? He just wants to believe he's the bad guy. The dragon dildo? Don't worry about it, Drama Mama. Giant monsters do exist in this universe? Exactly. There are giants, there are giantesses, there are just large spirits in general. All the time for Twitch to buffer? That must have been a weird one. I received volume 2 of Erhard and we're starting book 2 today. I am blessed. Yo, awesome. Which language did you get it in? It's in a couple of languages, right? Or am I wrong about it? I think it's in Chinese and Thai, at least. I think there's more. I heard too many stories from nurses to hear you say that, Ku. Did you see the video of the man who jumped off a building in France and just happened to land on a street pole and it impaled him right? We're moving on. I'm sorry. Did I get silenced? You did for 60 seconds. It was weird. Twitch glitched. Ah, so you probably got unsilenced immediately. Chinese release keeps tempting me, but me broke. It's so beautiful, though. The Thai release artwork is gorgeous as well. It's available in Korean, too. There we go. I knew there were more languages. I just couldn't remember which ones. Why is this music so lighthearted? How dare you? Shizun is dead. You have no decor. God damn it. And then to suddenly be told that that's not it. That's all wrong. What to do then? The dirt from back then had already lodged under the skin with the passing of time, had already immersed into the blood. The healed flesh would have to be torn open again to remove that bygone hatred. A misunderstanding of 1 year is a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding of 10 years is an injustice. A misunderstanding of a lifetime, from life to death, is fate. Their fate was blighted. The heavy gates of the Frost Sky Hall opened slowly. Just like in the previous lifetime, Xue Jungyong, a sheepskin of wine in hand, walked heavily to Moran's side and sat down on the floor next to him. I heard you were here. Uncle will keep you company. Xue Jungyong's fierce eyes were still red, clearly having cried not long ago. Don't do this to me! We just talked about this at the beginning. I can't take big, strong, buff men crying. It's fucked up. Got the Chinese one with acrylic Moran and Cuchallain Jun. Oh, nice. And Ranwan in wedding robes. That's fucking beautiful. I haven't actually seen the acrylic pictures. I've seen the pictures from the inside. I wonder if they're the same as that. I love the fucking Thai art of the two characters. Fluffy-headed Moran is just beautiful. Chuaning was Uncle's friend after all. Uncle was Chuaning's only friend. And the sad thing is Chuaning didn't even consider him a proper friend. It was so sad seeing their interactions so many times and Chuaning acting so cold. And Xue Jingyong just being like, but we're bros. I brought you here for a reason. You're not just a weapon, goddammit. Oh, it's gonna get more painful, isn't it? Yo, my name's changed. I haven't been able to stream since before September. What's up, Alethra Bloom? That's a beautiful name. Goddamn. How dare the music go happy? I know, right? Good clip. Good clip. And him too. Moran said nothing. Xue Jingyong twisted open the cap and took several big gulps before suddenly stilling, wiping roughly at his face and forcing a grin as he said, Yuang never liked it when I drank. Now? No, never mind, never mind. I'm not even that old, but I've already seen off so many friends. Ranar, do you know what kind of feeling that is? Moran didn't really have friends as Ta Xianjun. He lost his most important person and then burned the whole fucking country down. But he kinda knows the feeling. He understands being surrounded by death. Moran lowered his lashes. Xue Jingyong had asked him the same question in the past life. Back then, all he saw was Shimei's lifeless body. What did he care if others lived or died? He didn't understand, nor did he want to. But how could he not understand now? Before he'd been reborn, he had stood alone in the empty halls of Wushan Palace. One day, jolting awake from a light slumber in which he had dreamt of bygone days, spent as Yuheng's disciple, he had the sudden impulse to go see his old room at the disciples' quarters. The narrow room, unused for so long, was covered in dust where he opened the door and stepped inside. I'm just going to call him out on his bullshit right now, by the way. He was with Chu Wanning until right near the end as his fucking first life. Fuck you. You may have tortured him, but he was still there standing by your side, being hurt by you and being in love with you. It fucking sucks. Read ahead after the stream stopped and I remembered what's coming next. I can only imagine pain. Part is so somber that I can barely comment. I just want to grieve. Yeah, she's on, man. Sorry for my English tonight, but I've got a long day of crunching for my exams. All good, Lucilla. Have a good night. Take it easy and good luck with your exams. And thank you for the hydrates, Kuro Tenchi. Yeah, I read that one. This is fine. Hi, let's cry. Yeah, we gonna cry. It's not good times. It's sad times. He had found a small fragrance burner toppled on the floor, knocked over by someone sometime. He picked it up and reflexively went back to put it in its original place. But the years had flowed by like a rapid stream. Holding the burner, he suddenly froze. Where did I used to keep this burner? He couldn't remember. His eagle-like gaze swept across the attendants at his back, but their faces were nothing but blurs. He couldn't even tell one from another. But of course these people wouldn't know where in the room of his youth this emperor used to keep the fragrance burner. Where did I used to keep this burner? He couldn't remember, and anyone who could was already dead or gone. How could Moran not understand how Xue Jingyong felt right now? Every now and then I would remember some joke from my youth out of the blue and just blurt it out, and then realize that not a single person who gets it is even around anymore. Xue Jingyong took another swig. I'm going to change the music to even sadder. This is getting fucked. That's a good fucking line. The idea of him just telling a joke and everybody being like, what the fuck is he talking about? Because it's an in-joke that only he and his friends would get, and they're all gone. Xue Jingyong took another swig of wine and, lowering his head, let out a mirthless laugh. Like your dad, or our friends from before. Or your Shizun. Fragments of light reflecting off the wetness in his eyes, he asked, Ranar, do you know why this cliff is called Ah? Moran knew what he wanted to say, but he was too distraught right now to want to listen to Xue Jingyong talk about his dead father, so he responded, I know. It's because Uncle used to cry here. Ah. Xue Jingyong paused and blinked slowly, wrinkles deep at the corners of his eyes. Did your aunt already tell you? Xue Jingyong wiped away his tears and inhaled deeply. Alright. Okay. Then you already know what Uncle wanted to tell you. Go ahead and let it out if you're sad. It's alright. There's no shame in crying for someone. But Moron didn't cry. Maybe because his heart had already become hard as iron from 2 lifetimes of this. Compared to how devastated he'd been back when Shimei died, the current him was so very calm. So calm that he was unsettled by his own numbness, unaware that he was actually this heartless. Xue Jingyong finished drinking and stayed for a while longer before getting up, his movements a little unsteady. Maybe his legs had gone numb from kneeling for so long. Or maybe he had drank too much. His broad hand clapped Moran on the shoulder. The Heavenly Rift's been closed, but we still don't know who's behind it all. Maybe that was the end of it. But there might also be another big battle coming up. Ranar, make sure you go down and eat something. Don't wreck your body. Having said that, he turned and left. Oh, that is so painful. Moron took away a really powerful bonding moment with him and his uncle. His uncle wanted to talk about that. His uncle wanted to do the big revelation of like, it's fine to cry, Ranar. When my brother, your father, cried. Well, no, when my brother, your father, died, I cried on this mountain for weeks. You can do the same, just make sure you stay strong and healthy. Oh, man. And Moran just couldn't let him have that. Fuck. Just like, oh, your aunt already told you? Well, I guess I'll leave then. Oh, Uncle, no! That's so fucked. He just wanted to be like, I cry too. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll see you at the bottom of the mountain. He's been crying. His eyes are red. He feels terrible too. It'll come one day. He'll just start crying. That's the thing. Like we said at the end of last week's stream, some points you just get numb because the emotions are too much and it takes a while for it to actually sink in. But eventually, yeah, it's always like, fuck. It catches up to you. Sometimes at random fucking moments it'll hit you. It's so sad that he couldn't tell the story. Yeah. I think that would have been a little bit of release for Xue Jingyong as well. To be like, yeah, I remember that. That's why I love you so much, kid. Because you remind me of your dad. So glad I brought you back here. Like, that's the thing. It's a nice story in that way, too. A way of saying, that's why I look after you so closely. Fuck. It's so sad that they don't get that in this life. Because Moran already had it. He doesn't care. He just said, yeah, I know that story. But for Xue Jingyong, that took away a big moment for him. God damn. Serious, Uncle Xue, I approve. Seriously thought both of you need therapy. They do both need therapy. Ghost JJ promises. Moran doesn't even know what to feel. Nope. He doesn't know. He's literally like, he was my foe in the last life. I should be happy he's dead. But he's dead. No. If he started crying, I feel like he'd never stop. Yeah, he's got a lot of blood on his hands. Even in the first lifetime, he was like, oh shit. Yeah, nobody is around anymore who would know where this goes. Because they're all dead. I killed most of them. Fuck. It was nighttime, and outside Frost Sky Hall, a waning crescent hung high in the skies above. Treading through the snow that covered the cliff year-round with half a skin of wine in hand, Xue Jingyong's voice, deep and rough like a broken gong, rang out in a short tune from Suzhong. Greetings, old friends, but half are gone, meeting only in cups of wine. Beneath the osmanthus tree hides a pot of wine, a drink shared between aged faces and streaks of white. The first light of dawn shatters the dream and all depart, leaving me alone with my old tears. I'd give what remains of my life to the god of dreams, if only to call you back up, cup after cup. It was different from the past life after all. The one who died wasn't Shimei but Chuan Ning, and so Xue Jingyong was struck by even deeper sorrows. With his back facing the open gates of Frost Sky Hall, Moran listened to the lingering sound of that hoarse voice, resounding yet mournful. Slowly, the voice grew distant like a soaring eagle, until it was swallowed by the wind and snow. The word thus blanketed The world thus blanketed by a layer of bright white, the moon high in the vast boundless sky, washing over everything until it was all so faint and insubstantial, leaving only one line to echo over and over. Leaving me alone with my old tears. Leaving me alone with my old tears. Moran wasn't sure how long had passed when he eventually left Frostsky Hall to walk slowly down the mountain. Uncle was right. The Heavenly Rift may have been closed, but things might not be over yet. Chuan-Ning isn't here anymore. If there's to be another battle, he'd have to fend for himself. That did remind me of Zhongli too. I was thinking about that as well, with the osmanthus wine. The taste of osmanthus wine is ever sweet, but gone are the ones who remember it. Oh, that's fucked. Zhongli, man, had a big dark backstory too. Whenever I hear osmanthus, I hear his voice. I'm summoned by meme chances. Uncle deserves the world. Uncle does deserve the world. He just lost his best friend. Didn't he technically cry right before he died in the last life? Did he? I don't think so. Not in the part that we saw anyway. He might have. But the part that we saw was just him gloating to Mung Mung. And, you know, tears in his eyes as he slowly passed away of poison. No regrets. But where are those who share the memories? Exactly. There's the actual line. Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those that share the memories? Dashi crying would probably be terrifying. Yeah, that would actually probably make everybody scared rather than feel like anything else. I think it's a reference to a Chinese poem. Yeah, he did. He did. Between Mo Xiang and Meat Bun stories are just like, yo, I have an opening at 5 if you want to come in for a therapy session with me. Yeah, they hit you right in the feels and they just keep hitting you while you're down. Just saying hi, almost caught up with the read-throughs on YouTube. I'm having a blast listening. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cells222. Hopefully see you next time, and thanks so much for joining us today. This is actually a good track for this. I like this. It was already late by the time he got to Mungpo Hall, and there was no one else around aside from the old woman making the late-night supper. Moran asked for a small bowl of noodles and found a corner spot to slowly eat. I'm really surprised he didn't get wontons. The noodles were hot and numbing, warm in his stomach. The dimly lit Mungpo Hall was hazy when he looked up between large ravenous bites through the thick screen of steam. He vaguely recalled how stubborn he had been in the past life after Shimei's death, how he had refused to leave or eat for 3 days straight, and how later, when he'd finally been talked into leaving Frostsky Hall to go eat something, he had happened across Chuan-Ning in the kitchen, his back facing him as he clumsily rolled wrappers and mixed feelings. How there had been flour and water on the table, and a couple rows of wontons neatly lined. No! Don't do this to me! I know damn well that Chuan-Ning tried to make him wontons to make him feel better. He's tried to do that in this life already. He was trying to feed his baby boy. Clang. The loud sound of everything being swept off of that table rang out from the bygone past, stilling the chopsticks in the hands of the present Moran, making it hard for him to swallow. At the time, he had thought that Chuan-Ning was taunting him, that he purposely wanted to hurt him. But thinking about it now, maybe Chuan-Ning really did only want to make him a bowl of wontons in place of the departed Shimei. Who the fuck do you think you are? Do you have any right to use the things he used? To make the food he did? Shimei is dead! Are you happy now? Or do you have to hound all of the disciples to death or madness before you're satisfied? Chuan-Ning? There's no one left in this world who would make those wontons ever again. No matter how much you imitate him, you'll never even come close. Each word a stab to the heart. He went back to eating his noodles, not wanting to think about it anymore. But it wasn't that easy. His memories wouldn't leave him be. He remembered Chuan-Ning's face with such clarity, clearer than ever before. His face had betrayed nothing, not joy and not sorrow. He remembered every detail of that moment with such unprecedented clarity. He remembered the faint trembling at the tips of those fingers, the smudge of flour on the side of that cheek. He remembered the plump, snowy wontons all over the floor. He remembered how Chuan-Ning had lowered his lashes and then bent down to slowly pick them up off of the floor, those wontons that could no longer be eaten, and then thrown them away himself. Thrown them away himself? But there was still more than half the bowl of noodles with peas left. The moron couldn't eat another bite. Pushing the bowl away, he fled this place that was going to drive him insane. He ran madly through Sushang Peak, as if trying to outrun this decade-long misunderstanding, as if trying to get back those ridiculous years, as if trying to catch up to that person who had left Mongpo Hall all alone that day. Catch up to him so that he could say, "I'm sorry. I was wrong to hate you." In the darkness of night, Moran ran aimlessly. He ran and ran. But he saw fragments of Chuan-Ning's shadow everywhere he went. The platform of sin and virtue where he had taught him to read and trained him in the sword. Naihua Bridge where he had shared an umbrella with him as they walked together. Clear Sky Hall where he had endured punishment by striking and left all alone. He felt more and more distraught, more and more helpless. Suddenly he ran into an open clearing, and it abruptly felt like the haze had dissipated and he could see the bright moon high above again. Breathing heavily, he stopped running. The heaven-piercing tower. The place where he'd died in his past life. The place where he had met Chuan-Ning for the first time. Mayhem in his eyes like a battlefield in chaos. Heartbeats wild like the beating of war drums. Unable to ward off the tidal surge of the past and helpless to avoid its relentless assault, he had been forced here in the end, where the moonlight was a pale white and the breeze a gentle caress. Where they had first met. Fuck me, that is some of the best writing I have read in months. God damn, Meat Bun #1 and also translators, holy shit. Mayhem in his eyes like a battlefield in chaos. Heartbeats wild like the beating of war drums, unable to ward off the tidal surge of the past and helpless to avoid its relentless assault. God damn, that's so beautiful. The moonlight was a pale white and the breeze a gentle caress where they had first met. I like how it goes from the idea of it being a battle, it being danger, the heart racing, the danger, the fact that he was like, I like this man. Why do I like this man? I can't like this man. This man is evil. He's a problem. He's going to kill me. He's my enemy. To, no, he was calming. He took care of me. He protected me. And look at what I did to him. Oh, fuck. That's written so well. God damn. Meat Bun and translators doing so well. Yeah, they are, Miruru69. Did we get first meeting with Shizun already? Yeah, we did. Underneath the tree. Yeah, we had a flashback to that. That was early on. I think that was like shortly after the wedding scene. I think like way back. Hindsight is 2020 for real with this chapter. Yeah. It's annoying. It's annoying because I was not in love with Shimei. So if I saw my Shizun making wontons, I'd be like, oh, he really cares about me. It's so wild. Well, I guess, yeah. In their past life, he didn't ever try to make the wontons for him for anything else. He would have just seen Shimei making wontons for him and then been real pissed. That's right, moron. Realize how good Shizun was to you? Everywhere he goes. Everywhere in Sushang Peak, it's like, oh fuck. Shizun helped me here. Shizun saved me there. Shizun taught me there. I met him here, and he died here. No. On the one hand, yay, moron is finally properly reflecting on his feelings and relationship. On the other hand, damn, Meat Bun, why must you do this? Yeah. Meat Bun's making this whole chapter just pure pain. This is incredible. Can't believe I missed like 40 minutes, but still here for some of Meat Bun's most poetic stuff. I thought we were done with the poetic stuff early on. Chapter 1 was incredible, and then they kind of toned it down for a while. They kind of brought it back for like action scenes and big dramatic moments, but this chapter, this must have taken forever to write. This must have been rewritten so many times. It's all perfect. Moran finally stopped running. He knew he couldn't escape it. The fact that in this life, he was bound to owe Chuan-Ning. Slowly, he walked up the steps. Walked towards that magnificent Haitang tree. He reached out and touched the bark of the trunk, dry and hard like a calloused heart. Just like Shizun, who put up so many walls around his heart. It had already been nearly 3 days since Chuan-Ning's death. Moran looked up. The flowering tree was gentle as it always had been. Only then did a bout of boundless sorrow suddenly well up in his chest, and pressing his forehead against the trunk of the tree, he finally started crying, tears falling like rain. Well, we'll find out if he'll ever stop crying then. Shizun! Shizun! He murmured between choked sobs, repeating over and over his words from when he first met Chuan-Ning. Would you pay attention to me? Pay attention to me! But though things remained the same, the people had changed. You want some rain? We can put some rain on. And in front of the heaven-piercing tower now, there was only him. No one paid attention to him. No one would come again. The reborn Moran had the body of a youth, but inside was the soul of a 32-year-old Taxian Jun. He had seen far too much life and death, tasted all the joys and sorrows that the world had to offer. And so, in this reborn life, he never really showed much genuine emotion, always muted as if hidden behind a mask. But right now, the loss and anguish written on his face was so raw, so vulnerable, so genuine, so naive. Only now was he truly like an ordinary youth who had lost his Shizun, like a child who had been abandoned, like a stray dog that had lost its home and could never again find its way back. He said, "Pay attention to me. Pay attention to me." But in the end, his only answer was the rustling of the leaves and the dancing shadows of the flowers. The person with the striking features under the high tang tree that year would never again, could never again, lift his head and look at him. Not even just one glance. Shizun! Oh fuck, that was so well done. Pay attention to me. That's all he wanted in the first life, up until Shimei's death. He wanted his Shizun to pay attention to him. If his Shizun, if Chuan-Ning had talked to him properly, I'd told him how proud he was most of the time. I told him how much he cared about him and liked him. Things would have been so fucking different. It's so painful all the fucking time in this novel. That was fast. Yeah, at least he broke down in tears. I don't know what's gonna happen after this. This is the thing. Is baby Moran gonna take his own life already? He's already talking about the Taxian Jun shit. He's like, I've tasted all of the joys in life. I've felt all the pain. I'm done with it. It's just like when he lost Chuan-Ning the first time. He doesn't even care about Shimei right now. It's not like the first life when he lost Shimei and he was like, oh, I'm going to burn down the entire world and I'm going to make Chuan-Ning my bitch. At least he had Chuan-Ning then to keep him attention. But at this point, he's just like, fuck. Everything's gone. Shitsundere. Have some ghost hugs. Thank you. It's in the footnotes. Oh, I don't want to read the footnotes. I saw that it goes back to the fucking corpse thing and I was like, pain. Author's notes. Big white cat's talking corpse, thanking JJWXC readers. Exactly the same as the last chapter. Puppy. Oh, he's crying now. Pup.exe is still glitching. Big white cat shoots him a glance, sighs, and takes the script from his hands. Big white cat reading Pup's lines for him. The rest of the thanks. Oh, Shizun's still caring for him, even in the fucking author's notes. Shizun's like, don't worry, puppy. I got you. I got you, kid. Ah. Pay attention to me has a lot of nuance that can't be captured by any single word in English. It's a plea for recognition, acknowledgement, and attention. A lot of desires rolled up in one. I feel like pay attention to me gets that across. Because when I heard that, I never thought that it was just like the initial Moran's childhood plea of like, pay attention to me, I'm talking to you. It's more of a pay attention to me, I'm your student. I'm doing all of this to get your attention. I am burning the world to the ground because I want you to acknowledge me. I want you to tell me I'm horrible. I want you to tell me that I've done wrong, to be mean to me because I'm being so fucking evil. It was always, pay attention to me, Shizun. I am burning down the world because of everything that happened with Shimei and the fact that you, as my teacher, are refusing to teach me. He said that one line that always got to him, that he was too far gone, that he couldn't save him. And he wanted him to reach out to him throughout all of that. Still only 1/3 into the main storyline. No! I love angst. I adore book 2. That's what I'm worried about, is that the entirety of book 2 is just going to be dead Shizun, which I don't want. Shizun's third weapon. Is it his third leg? Oh, that made me feel better. A sad child acting out to get someone to pay attention to his pain. Yeah. Even though it led to the death of so many fucking people. Gotta go back to being a therapist. Happy sad reading. Thank you, Razihibe. Have a good night. Thank you so much for joining us while you could. Nothing like a dirty choke to lift the tension, right? Gotta get a joke in every now and then. I knew you were gonna say that. It's the weapon he was most afraid of. Shizun's third weapon. Okay, we're good. We're good. That was a one chapter. It was the one chapter. That was one chapter. 12 pages. Damn. They came out of the boat swinging. Chapter 99. Shizun's third weapon. Finally caught one. What's up, little Messy C? Welcome to the stream. It's lovely to have you here. I hope you enjoy yourself. And thank you for the hydrates. I think I timed that rain and music going off earlier, like first time. That's perfect. You are in for hellfire, Ku. Can't wait, Ike. Can't wait. That night, Moron slept leaning against the Haitang tree. There were many places at Sushang Peak that had traces of Chu On-Ning having lived there. If he wanted to pay his respects, there was no place more suitable than Red Lotus Pavilion. But only leaning against this tree dulled the ache in his heart. Only here could he feel a faint connection to the world of the living. He'd once thought that taking Chu On-Ning as his master was the greatest misfortune of his life, that it was a mistake from the very start. Only now did he finally realize that the unfortunate one wasn't him, wasn't Morway Yu, but the one standing beneath the flowers that day, head lowered and lost in thought. The unfortunate one was Chu On-Ning. Oh, that's painful. Now he's finally realized, am I the bad guy? I was so unfortunate to get Chu On-Ning. No, I was so blessed to get Chu On-Ning. And then I destroyed his life, tore him to pieces, made him fall in love with me, made him hurt, and eventually made him give up his life to protect me. Shanjun, pay attention to me. Vaguely, he seemed to recall that being the first thing he had said to Shizun. Maybe not those exact words. It had been too long ago, and he no longer remembered too clearly. But he could still remember the look on Chu On-Ning's face when those eyelashes flickered up, bewildered and startled, and how gentle he had looked. Lying beneath the flowering tree, Moron thought that if time could flow backwards to the day he chose his master, then he absolutely, no matter what, shouldn't cling to Chu On-Ning to accept him as a disciple again. Because the price for the flicker of those eyelashes in that instant was the endless entanglement to follow, was Chu On-Ning's very life. 2 lifetimes. He'd been ruined in his hands. For 2 lifetimes. His throat moved in a swallow as he closed his eyes against the rising thread of a sob. A long, long time passed in an agony that felt like a million ants gnawing at his heart before he finally drifted off into a light slumber. And then, in his dreamscape, that segment of memory that he hadn't dared touch since his rebirth struggled free of its chains, raised its knife and carved out his heart. The him of that time had stood... Whoa, yeah, we're going dark. But again, I'm fucking loving this. Him finally realizing, oh, I burned that to the ground. But I don't like him just straight up being like, oh, if I get another chance, I'd just not approach him again. That's so sad. That's so Clannad. That's so Angel Beat. I don't like it. You don't do that. You make it better. You become his student again and you enjoy your time together. You realize your mistakes and you make Shizun happy. Whether it does end at this point or you get to have a lifetime together. The same way you tried to for Shamay, you fuck. Bad puppy. Bad puppy. Not dark enough. Not dark enough. Nope. That's some Tashi and Jun theme. The hymn of that time had stood at the very top of the human realm, and Chuan-Ning, spiritual core abolished, was imprisoned in his palace. But he had been targeted by several assassination attempts in a row, the last of which had been perpetrated. I can't say assassination, and I can't say perpetrated. The last of which had been perpetrated by Shui Meng and Mei Han Shui. Moran was too powerful to yield to them this life, but he did sustain grave injuries from it and had to stay in his palace and recover for more than a month before he got his strength back. Shuzhong was a rainy place, even more so during those days. Pitter-patter without stop. Fingers pale as jade, clutching the edge of the heavy brocade cloak draped over his shoulders, Moran stood beneath the stoa, gazing at the grey skies above, the expression on his face one caught between mirth and madness. He didn't speak, but anyone could feel the twisted nature radiating from his person. He'd been born with such a handsome face, but the light in his eyes was dark and ruthless, devoid of any warmth. And for the longer he sat on the throne, the darker it became. Footsteps sounded from behind him. Without looking back, he said, "You're here. Are you going..." Wait. Fuck, I can't even do Chuan-Ning right now! "Are you going to lay waste to Kunlun Tashui Palace?" Chuan-Ning's voice ran out faintly in the ground hall. Moran replied, "And what if I am? Have you forgotten what you promised me? That you wouldn't go after Shui Meng's life anymore?" Moran's voice was calm and even as he spoke. "Shizun came all this way and didn't even stop to ask how my injuries are doing, or whether I'm cold standing out here in the wind. All he cares about is who I'm going to kill." "Oh, you. I came to tell you to stop doing things that you'll end up regretting." Regret? Shouldn't you be the one regretting? Your core is already shattered from our fight back when you tried to stop me from raising Rufeng sect. You're just an ordinary person now, without the strength to oppose me now that I'm going to raise Tashui Palace. Don't you regret not minding your own business back then? Moran turned to look over his shoulder at him, a flicker in his eyes and a cruel smile tugging at the corner of his lips. Chuan-Ning, you worthless cripple. What exactly do you hope to stop me with? Chuan-Ning couldn't find any words for a long while. Maybe because he really did have nothing left. A loud clap of thunder suddenly split the skies and rain poured forth, streaming down the roof and spilling from the eaves. Finally, Chuan-Ning closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, all he said was a quiet, "Don't go." Moran turned around with a flutter of black robes. Oh, this is so painful. He started to realize how effed up he was even before Chuan-Ning's death. Yeah. Wonder at what point did Moran change from everything I did was justified to what the fuck? How could I? It seemed to be right at the beginning of his rebirth. Or possibly... Nah, I guess not at the end of his first life. At the end of his first life, he was still like, it's boring now. I'm on my way out. Fuck you, Meng Meng. He might have been hiding a lot of pain there. We might have been essentially seeing it from Meng Meng's eyes. Of the great tyrant, like, staring him down and gloating as he went out, unable to be killed by him. But the way they described it, it made it sound like Moran was just like, I've won. Goodbye. But definitely at the beginning of his second life, there was 100% that moment where he was like, oh fuck. I really burned down everything. I get a chance. I get a chance to change it. All of the pain. Oh, man. Hey, Jude. Don't make it bad. Oh. You good, Ku? I'm good. I just like fighting with my music. I know exactly what you were referring to with that. Yeah, I was fighting with my music. It's fine. I'm allowed to fight with my music. That'll actually be a really good track for this moment. No. That one. I love Mormoran so much, though. Mormoran. I love Mormoran-ing. How dare you? Shizun is the mama. In Lake Arc, I believe. I feel like even at like the beginning of his second life, he was kind of like, yeah, I was fucked up. You're right, definitely that in the Lake Arc, he was like, oh, there were misunderstandings there, huh? Like in the Lake Arc, I feel like he started to realize Chu Wan-ning isn't so bad. He started to think, this Chu Wan-ning really wants to protect me. Was he always like this? But I do think at the beginning of his second life, possibly because he hadn't been poisoned by whatever it is that's kind of feeding dark energy into him. I think that happened in the first life too. I don't think it was only in the second life. I think he just didn't run into it as much in the first life. But I think something was making him extra angsty, extra evil, extra fucked up. But maybe not. Moran is still not completely regretting as he should. I think Chu Wan-ning's death now will make him realize his mistakes. Milf Zun. Now that's some shizusi. Twitch is deleting messages? Oh shit. That's not good. I'm sorry if it is. I don't know how to fix that. That might be a new feature. Now let's do this. Framed by the ashen skies behind him and torrential rain amidst freezing winds. Oh, we got freezing winds too? I got you. He looked at Chu Wan-ning within the hall. And why shouldn't I go? I've already given Shuimeng his chance. That year when you willingly gave yourself to me for his sake, I kept my word and spared his life in exchange for you. But now he's the one after my life. So tell me, why shouldn't I go? Well, nothing to say. Moran scoffed. Go on, berate me. Curse me out. Say something. Chu Wan-ning, where did all that might of yours go? I already know Shuimeng's your favorite, your best disciple. You think he's earnest and sincere, and I'm just the mud on the bottom of his boot. That's enough. Chu Wan-ning's brows were knitted tight on his pale face, as if trying to hold something back. That is not enough. How could it be? The sight filled Moran's heart with a savage glee. Anger, ecstasy, hatred, and jealousy scorching his heart with their intensity. His eyes glinted as he paced back and forth. There is no second chance, Chu Wan-ning. There's no second chance for him. I'm going to kill him, and I'm going to skin him for a rug, drink wine from his skull. I'll scoop out his insides, chop him up and stew him. You can't stop me. Chu Wan-ning, you can't stop me. I like this Tashi-enjun. This is a fun Tashi-enjun. Eyes reddened, he grew more enraptured by the more he raved, frenzied and crazed, when suddenly a hand fisted the collar of his robes and another landed on his face. Snap out of it. Chu Wan-ning's face was so close he couldn't see the quiver of his eyelashes and the wetness in his eyes. Run. Wake up already. Wake up. I am awake! The burn of his cheek only drove him further into madness. Glaring at Chu Wan-ning's face, he felt a sudden flare of anger. I'm perfectly fucking awake. You're the one that's asleep. Are you blind? He shoved him off and ripped open the collar of his robes to reveal blood-stained bandages. Are you blind, Chu Wan-ning? He roared, jabbing at his own chest. And when even that didn't feel like enough, ripped the gauze right off to show the bloody mess beneath. Who do you think did this? Your good disciple, Shuimeng. If he had aimed his long chung just a little bit to the side, I'd be dead right now. So tell me, why the fuck should I let him go? As far as you're concerned, his life is a life, but mine doesn't count. Is that it? In a fit of rage, Moran grabbed Chu Wan-ning's hand without warning and pressed it to his bloody wound. Didn't you want to stop me? Fine, here's your chance. Go on and dig out my heart then. Chu Wan-ning, why don't you just dig out my fucking heart then? The tips of Chu Wan-ning's fingers, cold as ice, trembled. Moran glared at him, furiously, ruthlessly, the veins at his neck throbbing. His voice was raw and raspy as he said, Go on, dig it out. deluge of rain against the roof was frenzied madness. Dead silence. Neither moved. An indeterminate amount of time passed before Moron finally let go of Chu Wan-ning's hand, and breaths low and harsh declared in a deep voice, "I'm taking Shui Ziming and Mei Han Shui's lives." "Go ahead and hate me, Shizun," he said. "My life's already like this anyway. Our lives are already like this. None of us can turn back now, so might as well just keep going at the darkness. I'll just drag some old friends along for company on my way to hell." Fuck, that was powerful. That was... Oh no. Assisted suicide attempt? Essentially. I mean, they spelled it out. I didn't want to stop in the middle of that. Oh god. But they did spell it out where he was like, berate me. Yeah, go on. Berate me, curse me out, say something, Chu Wan-ning. Where did all that might of yours go? He wanted Chu Wan-ning to tell him how disgusting you was. To pay attention to him. And to not give up on him. To be like, you're terrible right now, but I know you're in pain. I know that you're better than this, moron. That's so fucking good. Tashi and Jun puts Chu Wan-ning's hand on his titty. "Why don't you just take out my heart? Nice boob." The thing was, he put it on his titty, and that could have been like a sensual moment. That's the thing. Their entanglement is so sexually charged, as well as everything else. But what that scene was really saying on top of that was that Moron was begging him to kill him, was pulling his hand into the wound that was still festering. He got hit by Shuimeng with that ages ago, and it was still a pain for him. He was that close to death. And he's saying, "Chu Wan-ning, finish it. Do it. I don't want to live anymore. I want you to be the heartless bastard and kill me just like you killed Shimei in my eyes. Because at that point, you took me out." Oh, man. And then there was just something that made me giggle. Where was it? It was fucking fisted. So, when suddenly a hand fisted the collar of his robes. I love that. Oh, which part are we on? Oh, we're down there. I can't highlight it, but you see it. You see it. Second paragraph down, second line. Suddenly a hand fisted the collar of his robes. That made me feel a bit better while I was in the middle of reading. Also, he basically offers his heart to Shizun. He does. He's saying, "Shizun, this is for you. You destroyed it. Finish it. Finish me. Do it. If you won't teach me as a teacher, if you won't make this any better, then fucking end it for me." I love going from sheer pain to fisted. Of course it is. Of course it was fisted. Oh, man. Yeah, we got to come out of the pain a little bit. Tashi and Jun probably couldn't even live with himself anymore. Yeah, he wanted to die. He didn't expect to get that far. Let's be fair here. He expected Meng to kill him. He expected Chu Wan-ning to kill him. No wonder he was so pissed when he went to attack Meng and Chu Wan-ning, expecting them to finish him off. And instead what happened was Chu Wan-ning said, "No, I will save Meng, my adorable darling baby student, by giving up to you, by not fighting you." Tashi and Jun's whole plan there was to die against his teacher and his ex-student cousin. And instead all that happened was his teacher said, "No, I'll give up my own life to protect him. I will go with you, the great evil of this land, for the sake of my student who I actually like." Ah, poor baby boy. Poor baby boy. Chussy was fisted. God damn it, Ghost Chase Scatter. Perfect. I read her myself with music just like him to cope with missing his read-throughs. Prop to Ku for his great music choices. I'm just very lucky. Mine is just a combination of Cuchallain 3, the video game, Modao Zushu, and Tianguan Sifu. That's all I use. And sometimes it works out well, sometimes I'm shouting at it. I am sorry when I shout it and I'm like, how dare you become happy? I really need hotkeys for these and I'm never going to do it. Let's be fair here. I've had too much time. It's not going to happen. He'd actually dug out his heart. Could you say Tashi and Jun died by fisting? Yeah, I think that's the way Cuchallain Jun would have liked to die. Cuchallain Jun, he died the way he lived, being fisted by Chu Wanding. Dead by cop, Shansha style, yeah. He wants Shizun to take responsibility for his student and finish him as his last act as a proper Shizun would have, yeah. To defile him, to stain his white robes black, which I believe in the drama that's a thing, right? I don't remember in the novel if they ever described that, but certainly in the drama, he starts wearing black when he's with Cuchallain Jun. I accidentally clicked... Okay, we're good. He starts wearing black when he's with Cuchallain Jun, which is like grieving, sadness, sorrow, staining. This is your fault. I am the blight upon you, Shizun. This is what you have wrought on the world. I like that. There's so much fucking symbolism in this. Just remember that Mortal Kombat gif I sent, and that's what you call fisting. Prove you're the heartless evil man I think you are, because I don't know what I'll do if you aren't. Exactly. You abandoned Shimei. You left him to die. Do the fucking same to me so I can pass on. That was his whole thing in that life. God damn. The novel, I think he still wears white, but yes, he changes color in the show, yeah. It would be worse if he wore the skin of someone named Jack. Oh, Cuchallain Jun may have done some fucked up shit like that. I wouldn't be surprised if every time he killed someone, he like brought a trophy to Shizun. Just like dropped a finger down in front of them like, hey, you remember that uncle of mine, that friend of yours? I thought you should always keep a piece of him close by you. It'll comfort you, right? Oh, Shizun. Ah, it's so fucked. Probably not. Probably not. Anyway, let's get back into this. That day, looking at the black robes on his back as he walked away, Chu Wanning finally spoke. He said, Moron, if you destroy Tashui Palace and kill Shui Meng, then I'll die in front of you. I have nothing left to trade you with, but at least I can still choose death. Hearing that, Moron paused before turning to look over his shoulder, a smile spreading across his handsome face against the dreary backdrop of wind and rain. This venerable one will not allow you to die. Lest you forget, even when all the blood is drained out of your body, I still managed to take you back from the very gates of death. You're going to spend the rest of this life with me, no matter how much you disgust me. After venting his madness, Moron's expression gradually returned to its usual calm, cold and threatening. He said, My good Shizun, just be good and stay here at Sushang Peak. When I capture Shui Meng, I'll bring him back here so he can get a good look at the god that he worries over day and night, writhing under me like a wanton little slut. After all, in consideration of our shared past, it's only right that I grant him the courtesy of full comprehension before he dies. But against all expectations, Chu Zongshu was still Chu Zongshu. 1 month later, standing proudly at the summit of Kunlun Mountain, in front of the Heavenly Lake, Moron did exactly what he said he would. He captured Mei Hanshui and Shui Meng and tied them to pillars of ice before using Junlong chess formation to control all the thousands at Tashui Palace to slaughter one another as they were forced to watch. The snowy mountain, once pristine and majestic, was dyed crimson in an instant. Blood ran into the lake, seeped into the ground. Moron sat calmly before the palace gates, eating grapes brought by the servants and smiling as he watched the scene. Looking at Shui Meng, his eyes glazed and unfocused, he asked, Meng, do you like it? Shui Meng didn't react, as if having lost his hearing. Pleased, Moron smiled even more affectionately as he said, Cousin staged this show just for you. Are you enjoying it? Spare Tashui Palace, came a faint, abrupt murmur. Moron blinked. What? Spare Tashui Palace? There was no light in Shui Meng's usual bright eyes. Let them go. Let Mei Hanshui go. I was the one who tried to kill you that time. Just kill me. Leave everyone else out of it. Moron couldn't help but laugh. Are you trying to talk terms with me? No. Shuimeng's eyes were hollow as he said, I'm begging you. The darling of the heavens said, I'm begging you. Moron's eyes gleamed. The demon in his heart delighted by these words. As if amused, he gripped Shuimeng by the jaw and forced him to look up at himself, and was just about to say something when a burst of radiant green lit up the skyline. What's going on? His retinue didn't even get a chance to respond before a spiritual ray, flowing and resplendent, stretched out from high above the towering peak to cover all the thousands of miles of Kunlun Mountain. And there, above the array, stood Chuan-Ning, robes white as snow, fluttering lightly amongst the clouds. A Guchallain of an unusual shape hung in the air before him, pitch black all over, with its tail end curving upwards into a flourish of branches, blooming with dew-laden haitang blossoms that glowed with a luminous radiance. Chuan-Ning's third holy weapon, Jiuge. Oh, fuck. Shit got real, yo. Author's notes. 9 songs. Songs addressed to deities and fallen heroes. Oh, fallen heroes? That's fucking perfect for taking out Taxian Jun. The chapter title? What was the chapter title? Oh, the third weapon. Even though 0.5 mod is hopelessly perverse and insane, but strangely I like writing 0.5 related plot events very much. I feel you, Meatman. It makes it more fun. It's more sadistic. It's more fucked up. It's always a good time. You're welcome to help previous timeline Shizun ferociously whip this previous timeline mod. Yeah. Pain is real. So many mixed emotions. It's so badass, though. Poor Mong Mong. Also, that line was so fucked up. God damn. Oh, when I capture Shuimeng, I'll bring him back here so we can get a good look at the god that he worries over, writhing under me like a wanton little slut. For one thing, you didn't have to use the word wanton in such a perfect way, as it fucking doubles with wonton, man. It makes it even more painful. Like, it's a perfect word for that. Wanton little slut. Like, oh, god damn. I would have absolutely devastated Mong Mong. Would have absolutely devastated Chuan-Ning. But thankfully, Shizun sounds like Shizun beat the shit out of Taxian Jun. A sword? Not a sword, unfortunately. A Guchallain. Sadly. It is not his third leg. The third leg is coming in some different day. Sad hype, but still hype. What are his other 2 weapons? The whip and... yeah, he does have a sword too. And that's what the sword was. Oh, my bad. My bad, Kameo Holo. I should have read back first. Chuan-Ning slept with Taxian Jun the first time to save Shuimeng, who got captured. So this hurts even more. Yeah. Ah, the pain. They never slept together just to be happy. Meat Bun constantly writing more for the 0.5 timeline. Me and Empath, sensing that she likes angst. Sensing that she likes... I'd say sadism. The sadistic and masochistic pain of it all. That's more than just angst. That goes beyond angst. That is pure pain and terror and raw sexuality. Taxian Jun's a fun time. Oh my god, we're on chapter 100. How the fuck have we gotten this far? Oh, we're definitely doing one more chapter. Chapter 100. Shizun's last words. Oh fuck, we're gonna hear about his death in the first timeline? Let's fucking... Oh, we're finally gonna hear about it then. So is this... did Moron actually kill him to stay alive? Or did... oh, nah, Shizun probably took his own life to save Mong Mong, didn't he? This is gonna fucking ruin us tonight, huh? Let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's turn this up. Moron's blood ran cold. He had only ever seen Chuan-Ning's Guchallain, Jiuge, once in his life when he'd summoned it at their life or death battle before, its cords splitting the skies and sundering the clouds. All that had been under the control of Zhenlong chess formation at the time. All that had been under the control of Zhenlong chess formation at the time. From the living people to the beasts and spirits, recovered their consciousness under the effect of Jiuge's cords. Moron's million-strong army of chess pieces thrown into utter disarray by one song. But summoning a holy weapon required use of the spiritual core and consumed a large amount of spiritual energy. Chuanning couldn't even call Tianwen anymore, so how did he suddenly manage to call forth Jiuge, which was even stronger than Tianwen? The battle above the Heavenly Lake that day had been no less fierce than the death match between master and disciple back then, but Moron's memory of it was a blur because after that bloody battle, there was finally no one left by his side he could talk to. Truth be told, in the last lifetime, all the way until death, Moron never could figure out just how Chuanning was able to summon Jiuge using just the strength of his soul. It was a kind of connection that didn't exist between any holy weapon and its master. But Chuanning managed it. That day, in the sound of the Guqin, Moron's Junlong chess pieces shattered into dust one after another. Jiuge's strength was even more pure and indomitable than the first time he saw it many years ago. So much so that he had even suspected that Chuanning's spiritual core hadn't been shattered at all, that he'd been merely faking it all those years, enduring the indignities and biding his time, waiting for the chance to take revenge in one fell sweep. Later, he even couldn't help thinking, it'd be great if that really was the case. If Chuanning really was just pretending, then maybe things wouldn't have gone that far. If only. Oh fuck, he used his entire soul and body, didn't he? Maybe this is maybe Jiuge is his actual physical form. If he's a reborn human from not Chu Fei. Chu Fei means just husband, right? Chu Shun. If this is Chu Shun's original form is a high Tang tree or something, I don't know. He had no core after all. Yeah, it's painful. I don't get it yet. I'm just gonna need to read on. I can't figure it out. Fei means wife, Fei means concubine. Okay, yeah, that's what somebody had told me last time. Because I thought Chu Shun was Chu Fei, but yeah, Chu Fei means Chu consort Chu. Okay. Jiuge nullified Moron's forbidden magic, returning awareness to the cultivators that had been slaughtering one another, and even shattered the enchanted ice pillars that had been keeping Shuimeng and Mei Hanshui bound. Moron leapt high into the sky, robes whipping in the wind and eyes filled with both anger and delight. He couldn't wait to see just how many more surprising skills Chuanning had up his sleeves. He landed on top of the barrier and strode over to stand before Chuanning. That pair of pale, slender hands slowed and laid over the strings of the Guqin, bolting its sound. Chuanning lifted his head, his face pale like snow beneath the sun. He spoke. Moron, come closer. Not knowing why, he walked over. Chuanning moved his fingers and several streams of jade-colored light flew towards Moron's chest. He was startled for a moment, thinking that Chuanning meant to kill him. But the light didn't hurt at all, only hovering in front of his chest before diffusing slowly into his skin and flesh, bringing with it untold warmth. I've healed your wound from Shuimeng. Chuanning let out a soft sigh. So, just let him off, Moron. If even he's gone, who will you go into the future with when you want to reminisce about the past? Who will you go to in the future when you want to reminisce about the past? Moron didn't even have time to process the meaning behind his words when the sturdy barrier beneath his feet disappeared abruptly, along with Chuanning's summoned Guqin Jiuge. He immediately raised his hand to call forth his blade Bogui to maintain his footing between the clouds. But Chuanning fell, gentle like a wilted leaf, as if the song just now had exhausted all that remained of his strength. Wanning! His expression changed immediately as he urged his blade downwards, catching that person in his arms just before he would have fallen into the ice-cold waters of the Heavenly Lake. Chuanning! You! Chuanning's eyes were closed. Blood seeped from his nose, his mouth, his eyes, his ears. He had always valued his dignity, keeping his back ramrod straight even when he was imprisoned at Wushan Palace, and rarely even allowing his appearance to be anything less than prim and pristine. But now he bled from all 7 orifices of the face, that usually clear and refined countenance a disheveled mess. Chuanning swallowed a mouthful of blood and said in a hoarse voice, You said that life or death is not up to me. But you see, moron, you've underestimated your Shizun after all. If I've made up my mind to leave, you can't stop me. Even if you tried. Shizun! Shizun! Moron stared at him, feeling a chill wash over his heart, feeling his scalp go numb as he called out helplessly. Chuanning smiled, his expression seeming almost glad. I've kept living these past few years because I didn't want to give up. Always thinking that I'll keep you company for a few more years. Try to teach you not to commit any more sins. But now... Moron trembled as he held the person in his arms. He suddenly felt terrified. Terrified? Such an emotion hadn't been part of him for more than 10 years, but now it rushed back in a wave, nearly carving out his heart. Now I know that perhaps it takes my death for you to stop doing evil. He stopped talking, as if in immense pain. Forcibly summoning Jiuge was more than his body could handle, and his insides were ripping apart, another mouthful of blood spilling forth. Moron, holding him in his arms, landed by the heavenly lake, his expression crazed with an undertone of anguish as he channeled spiritual energy into his chest non-stop. But that powerful stream of spiritual energy only sunk needlessly into Chuanning's body, like a clay ox into the sea. Moron panicked. Xianjun clutched the person in his arms tightly to himself, trying and failing, again and again to give him spiritual energy. It's useless, moron. I used the last of my life to summon Jiuge. This is it for me. But if you still have any clarity in your heart, then please forgive. Forgive whom? Shui Meng? Eihan Shui? Kunlun Tashui Palace, or the entire cultivation world? Yes. Yes, he'd forgive them all. As long as Chuanning lived. As long as this person he hated to the core didn't die like this. Chuanning lifted a trembling hand and a cold fingertip, as if in pity, but also almost tenderly, poked lightly at his forehead. He said, "Then please, forgive yourself." The ferocity on Moron's face froze in that instant. Forgive whom? As he lay dying, just whom was he worrying over? Forgive yourself. Was that what he said? Holding him in his arms, Xianjun seemed somewhat at a loss, but also somewhat delighted, anguished, but also perfectly contented. Forgive myself? Your last wish is for me to forgive myself, Moron muttered, eyes bloodshot, and he suddenly burst into laughter. Laughter that sounded like a raging inferno piercing through the skies and burning away all reason and rationality. Forgive myself. Chuanning, you're even crazier than me. How naive. All of Kunlun Mountain echoed with his deranged, miserable laughter. His twisted, unrecognizable, terrifying laughter. Surrounded by the sound of Moron's crazed laughter, Chuanning swallowed another mouthful of blood. If he still had the strength, his expression would have been one of anguish, but he didn't even have the strength to furrow his brows anymore. Only that pair of phoenix eyes. Those eyes that had once been sharp or resolute, or harsh or gentle. Those eyes were now filled with sorrow. Clear as snow over the heavenly lake. Hazy as the frost over the roof tiles. Slowly, Chuanning's eyes grew unfocused, his pupils dilating. Slowly, what had once been bright and sharp as lightning could no longer see clearly. In the end, he said in a quiet voice, "Don't laugh anymore. I can't bear to see you like this. Moron, this whole life, no matter what happened in the end, it's all because I failed to teach you well. Because I called you deficient by nature and beyond remedy. It was I who wronged you. I won't blame you. In life or in death." There was no color left on Chuanning's bloodless face. Even his lips were a pale blue. Arduously, he lifted his gaze to look at Moran's face. He wanted to cry, but it was blood that flowed slowly from his eyes and trickled down his face. Moran wept. Chuanning wept. He said, "Do you truly hate me so much? You will not grant me so much as a moment of peace? Even at the very end? Moran, don't do this anymore. Wake up. Turn back. Turn back. Wake up." He told him to wake up, but he himself, with his hollow eyes open, went to sleep. Moran didn't believe. He refused to believe that Chuanning had died just like this. That the great Zongshu of an era, high and lofty, his Shizun, the person he hated the most, had died just like this. Lying in his arms at the edge of a heavenly lake, dyed red by blood. Growing cold bit by bit, cold as frost, frozen like ice. Chuanning's face was covered in blood. Moran stared for a bit with his head lowered, then raised his sleeve and tried to wipe it clean. But there was too much blood. The more he wiped, the more he dirtied that originally clear and clean face. Moran pressed his lips together and wiped harder. All he got was a face smeared with blood. Even the facial features were hard to see now. He finally stopped laughing. Closing his eyes, he murmured quietly, "You won this time, Chuanning. I couldn't stop you from dying." He paused, then opened his eyes back up. They were deep and dark, yet a fire burned within the abyss. He continued, "But you've underestimated me as well. I can't stop you if you don't want to live. But you also can't stop me if I don't want you to die." Without publicizing his death, Moran brought Chuanning back to Sushang Peak. He was already immensely powerful by then, well capable of keeping a dead body from decay for all of time. So he kept Chuanning's body at the Red Lotus Pavilion, forced him to live on like this. It was too difficult for him to acknowledge that he had killed the last person in the world who still worried for him. As long as he could keep Chuanning's body from turning into ash, as long as he could still look at him every day, he could still think that Chuanning wasn't dead. And there would still be somewhere for him to unload his deranged hatred, somewhere for him to entrust his twisted love. Tashi and Jun had gone completely insane. After Chuanning left, he would go to the Red Lotus Pavilion every single day to look at his corpse. At first, eyes flashing with malice, he would spit and curse before that body, saying, "Chuanning, it's what you deserve. Cared for every single person beneath the sun but me. You hypocrite. What kind of master even are you? I must have been fucking blind back then to take you as my master. You bastard!" And then later he would ask relentlessly every single day, "What are you doing still asleep? When are you gonna wake up? I've already let Shuiman go. Isn't that enough for you? Get up already." Every time he said such things, the servants by his side wondered if he had lost it and gone mad. His wife, Song Chiao-tong, also thought he had gone mad. The prospect frightened her, and so lying beside him after a rare night of intimacy, she took the chance to say, Aran, the dead won't come back. I know you're sad, but who's sad? Song Xiaotong was adept at reading faces, especially after these years spent at Moran's side. Every step careful like treading on thin ice. Seeing his ill-tempered expression, she immediately shut up and lowered her eyes, saying, This one misspoke. No. But Moran didn't let her off so easily this time, narrowing his eyes as he pressed. Since you've already spit it out, don't just swallow it again. Go on, tell me. Who's sad? Your Majesty. There was thunder in Moran's dark eyes. He sat up abruptly and seized Song Xiaotong by her delicate neck, lifting the woman he had just entwined with in one hand and throwing her off the bed. His face twisted into something dangerous and beast-like. What do you mean the dead won't come back? Who's dead? Who's not coming back? Moran pushed each word past gritted teeth, aggressively and forcefully. No one's dead. No one needs to come back, and no one's sad. Song Xiaotong's lips quivered. She wanted to struggle, but as soon as she uttered the words, Red Lotus Pavilion, just that half of a sentence, and Moran was already seeing red. What are you trying to say? There's no one but a sleeping Chu Wan-ning at the Red Lotus Pavilion. What exactly are you trying to suggest, bitch? Seeing him fly into an uncontrollable rage, Song Xiaotong's heart lurched. Unsure what outrageous insanity he might do at this rate, and so she threw caution to the winds and gambled it all, raising her voice to say, Your Majesty, the person lying in the Red Lotus Pavilion is already dead, yet you wallow there every day. How can this one not worry? She picked her words carefully to avoid blame. Even framing her own selfish desire as concern for Moran. Moran stared at her, his breathing gradually calming down as if the words had gotten through to him somewhat. He stopped raging at her. He took a moment to steady himself before saying, I've made you worry. Song Xiaotong let out a breath of relief. This one wishes only for your Majesty's well-being and would gladly die for it. Your Majesty is deeply compassionate, but you must not be so despondent. Then how do you think this venerable one should be? Forgive this one for saying so. This one only means well for your Majesty, but it's time to bury Chu Zongshu. He's already gone. Keeping his empty body around like this will only cause your Majesty pain. And you have more to say, don't you? Might as well let it all out today. Seeing his expression gradually relax, the heart in Song Xiaotong's throat settled back down in her chest. She lowered her eyelashes and tilted her head slightly with her eyes half-lidded. She knew what she looked most like Xi Mingjing this way. She was well aware that Xi Mingjing was Mo Weiyu's weakness, though she couldn't understand why it was that no matter how much she dressed up like him and carefully imitated his demeanor, she just couldn't arouse Moran's interest. Although this temperamental man liked her company, he only ever touched her when he was feeling very low or very drunk. Song Xiaotong thought that maybe it was because Moran didn't really like women, but whatever it was, it clearly had nothing to do with Xi Mingjing. Not just her, but all of Sushang Peak knew that the man who died many years ago was Emperor Ta Xianjun's true love. What the hell was Chu Wan-ning? Song Xiaotong felt that he was no more than a plaything used by Ta Xianjun to vent his lust, a man he'd already grown tired of fucking. Chu Wan-ning may have traded his life for Mo Weiyu's disquietude and remembrance, but she knew it was nothing more than a momentary guilt, a temporary feeling of being unaccustomed. She was confident in her face, this face that looked like Xi Mingjing. That living dead in the Red Lotus Pavilion was no match for her on this basis alone. But Moran can't be allowed to continue on his madness like this. The world these days was in chaos. Wars left and right, and she was terrified that she might have chosen to follow the wrong master. She wasn't young anymore. If Moron was to lose his standing, she probably wouldn't be able to find another sky-reaching tree on which to climb to the top. And so she sincerely, wholeheartedly hoped that Moron would pull himself together and stop being insane. So she molded over, weighing the risk against the rewards, and in the end summoned up the courage to say, "And once Chu Zhongshu is gone, there'll be none worthy of the Red Lotus Pavilion." Moron said, "Right. Go on." "This one thinks, with that being the case, the pavilion will only remind your majesty of the past, so..." "So?" Moron narrowed his eyes. "So perhaps it's best to seal away the Red Lotus Pavilion after this. A pavilion serving only one master is a good tale." I'm so angry. I'm so fucking angry. Because I had that queued up. I had that song queued up because I was so sure this was going to be the point where Cuchallain Jun grabs her by the throat and drags her out to burn her to death. Still pretty sure that's what's about to happen. With her being like, yo, seal it away. A pavilion serving only one master is a good tale. You don't need that. Burn it down. Be done with it. And I'm expecting him to be like, oh, I'll be done with it. By like chaining her to the Red Lotus Pavilion and burning it with her alive. I was waiting for that scene, which is why it was silent for so long at the moment where he first was like, oh, do go on. Please tell me what you think. Ah, God damn it. To be fair, I saw a lot of people in chat talking about how she deserves to be murdered. I don't feel that. She's not a great person. She's not a terrible person. She's very much a woman in a man's world who doesn't have any martial prowess, who doesn't have any spiritual prowess, and is doing her best to survive. And she knows she clung to someone who's absolutely fucking insane and doesn't even particularly like her. And if this incredibly evil man dies, then she's going to be raped several times and then eaten by someone, because that's what happens to her bloodline. So I don't hate her. I feel bad for her, and I feel bad for everyone else in this story. And it's all so fucking real, man. Sorry, it looked like some text words came out of Goose Boobers. Yeah, it's actually, the model's actually positioned like that so that anytime somebody subscribes or follows, it just comes out of the inside of the shirt. Don't worry about it. She doesn't deserve to die, but she's pushing her luck. She's just trying to, you know, secure her position. She's scared that she could be the next one to be dead and thrown away. That's the thing. She's now worried that she's losing to a fucking corpse. It was one thing that everybody in the whole fucking place knew. Oh, he was in love with Ximing Jing. You just happen to look like Ximing Jing, and that's why he doesn't hate you. But now the fact that she's got Chu Wanning's body as his plaything. I mean, it's hard to talk about that too, because Miban put it subtly. But let's be fair here. Vented his frustrations and his sexual perverseness. He's still fucking the corpse. He's abusing the corpse and he's fucking the corpse. Oh, Moron is so broken right now. Poor baby puppy. Oh, no. Hi, cool, I'm late, but Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Blacklisted Sal Heroism. It's lovely to have you here. She doesn't deserve to die, but she is pushing a lot, yeah. She's trying to find a loftier position for herself because she's scared of being cast out at some point and just being some bitch who Cuchallain Jun liked and was evil along with him and then had to be gotten rid of for the sake of the cultivation realm. No, she is a bad person. If more things come up, then maybe. For now, I don't hate her. If more things come up that like maybe she made their relationship worse, then maybe, but we'll see. She was born in a world where she was forced to live in survival mode, yep. I think a slap on the face is a pretty decent catharsis factor. Lady, you've been in that palace for years. How does this seem like a good idea? To be fair, the fact that she survived in that palace for so many years shows how strong she is emotionally, if not physically. She definitely is losing to a corpse. Yeah, she's like, I am proud of my face. But this dude would literally fuck that dead thing rather than me. Remember, her life could either go with her getting eaten or raped. She found someone with a connection to her parents, thus giving them an interest in keeping her alive. Yeah, same thing she's doing in this timeline, where she's found that Nang Gongsu kind of pissed off at Ye Wangxi. Ye Wangxi saved her, and now she realizes that Nang Gongsu wants to protect her just to annoy Ye Wangxi. And so she's doing everything she can to indebt him to her, and to be perfect in his eyes so that he'll protect her. So she's trying desperately to keep herself important to them. She's sadly out of her depth and doesn't know what to do. We can't judge her in morality when literally everyone in this world is on a grade spectrum. Yeah, she's trying to survive. And you remember how bad her life has been so far. She was served up as a virgin at age 13 to be raped and or eaten by people. So you can see why she'd just be doing her best to survive. No, he's not. No, no, he's not. No, he's not. Ha ha ha. No such thing, Ku. He's only talking to it so far. What? Hold the fuck up. They said that. They said that line. I saw it. I didn't imagine that. Let's see. I don't like that, how she frames it as she's trying to look after him, but I mean, that's just a good way to trick someone. I can't really hate her for that. She wondering it's what you deserve. You've gone mad. Finding her. I'm adept at reading faces. What? I'm sure I saw it. I'm sure I saw it. Did I imagine it? I apparently imagine it. I liked this line. There was a reason that I highlighted that. There was too much blood. The more he wiped, the more he dirtied that original clear and clean face. The idea that he's trying to help his Shizun at this point, and yet, with everything that he's done, all he can do is stain him even more. He's too dark. It's difficult for him to acknowledge. Ah! There you go. Okay, so he didn't actually do it. It was just suggesting that that's why he was keeping him alive. I get you. Okay, he's not doing that. This is fine. And there would still be somewhere for him to unload his deranged hatred. Somewhere for him to entrust his twisted love. I thought that was saying, oh, hey, he's taking out his frustrations on him in more than one way. But no, it's just saying that that's why he's keeping the body around. Is that in his mind, if nothing else, he still loves Chuan-Ning. He still hates Chuan-Ning. He still has his body to shout at and to curse at. When I saw deranged love, I read it as deranged lust. I went way darker than I ever should have. Fair enough. That's my bad. Moron. Sheesh, I'm not that crazy. Yeah. Oh no. Gesturing to the corpse. Did they consummate with this corpse? I mean, there's already been a corpse orgy in this story. I wouldn't put it past Meat Bun. It's about how hard it is to judge someone and their morality. Frustrations, you say. Oh man, we promise he's not fucking the corpse. Yeah, apparently he's not. It's fine, guys. It's fine. I read it wrong. I misread, and so I'm glad you guys called me out on that. Because at some point in the future, I would have been like, but he was fucking the corpse. And that would have been even worse, because everybody would have been like, no, he wasn't. Where the fuck did you get that? And I'd be like, I remember it. It's stuck in my mind. She could have been protected by said sect. Instead, she went to the strongest suitor. Because she wants to be strong. She wants to be high up. She doesn't just want to be a protected little baby of the sect, a little sweet sect sister. No, she wants to be married to the leader of the sect. Seems really stupid to play his game. That conversation from the get-go was screaming all kinds of red flags. She's desperate, my man. She's desperate. She's like, yo, please? You should forget about that. Only love me. She thinks she's doing well because he's actually calmed down. I doubt it's very often that she actually gets him to calm down when he's in the middle of shouting. She doesn't realize that this is actually him calming down because he's thinking, oh, how should I kill this bitch? Should I flay her? Should I burn her? Should I eat her? There's so many ways to get rid of this body. Oh, please, no, do tell me about how I should get rid of my Shizun, who he doesn't think is dead. I'm pretty sure he subconsciously knows he's dead. He's lying to himself. That's what's going on. Love that half of the chat is arguing morality of a character and the other half is screaming about not boning a corpse. Get you a novel with this kind of duality? Yeah. Meat Bun's writing, man. You get one misunderstanding and shit goes off the rails. Did we talk about the chapter titles changed from starting from this venerable one to Shizu? Oh, I didn't even fucking fucking noticed that. Wait, I'm highlighting this because we still need to read this. I'm just getting very distracted. We read a whole chapter in one go, essentially. Shizun's last words. Did that start at 99 or 100? Did that start at book 2 or... Yo. Shizun, I'm begging you. Oh, the timeline has been changed. It's no longer this venerable one is so powerful. Now it's just straight up. Shizun, please, pay attention to me. Oh, that's so fucking good. Thank you for pointing that out. That would have taken me probably like 3 to 4 more read-throughs. Changed in book 2. That's fucking great. What was book 2's chapter? Because hold up. I'm going to open this up again real quick. I don't want to go back. I just want to see what the book's names are. Book 1, different paths. Book 2, same destination. That's fucking worrying. That makes it sound like this whole timeline is going to lead to Tashi and Jun versus the rest of the world all over again. Same destination. Or maybe it's just a reference to same destination being Chu Wanning being murdered. Dying to try and save his student. I don't know. Where has that picture come from? There's a whole bunch of dark evil. We have not met this dark evil yet. And that, I would have, like, when I first saw this picture, I was like, oh, yeah, Moran got chained up and then whipped. But no, not by this. He got whipped by Shizun. Author's notes. Miss Song is working towards her great demise and she doesn't even know it. That's the best bit. Miss Song's graduation thesis. An essay on how tragically one can die if they lack the ability to grasp the heart of the situation. Oh, you love to see it. Our poor baby girl. She was so innocent in the second timeline. She's so sweet. She just wants to survive. Again, I can't blame her, guys. I'm sorry. If she does some more evil shit before she goes out, then fair enough. For now, for me, she's a broken character just like Mo Wei Yu. Mo Wei Yu is so fucking mentally broken. So is she. We don't know what happened to her before she got served up. I don't like it. Bujada. Big white cat's talking corpse. Thanking... We're still doing this! Is this going to be every chapter? Thanking JJWXC readers, depraved Tashi and Jun of the previous lifetime. Me. You dare to make this venerable one read out the thanks? Sure. See if anyone thanks you tomorrow. You love to see it. Also, I am a conservative. Welcome to the House of Copperhounds. Thank you so much for following. It's lovely to have you here. Every VTuber has the same voice, pretty much. We all have like a couple of voices where it's like normal person, and then we go deep and do like an Alucard from Hellsing Abridged, and then we go light and try to do a female voice. Yeah, we do what we can. Some have unique voices. Have you been watching Luxium's characters? Fucking Mister does a really good bottom. Ike does a really good, like, sassy character. And fucking Vox, Akuma. Oh, goddamn. How deep that man's voice is at all times. You know who needs a VTuber model? Corpse Husband. That'd be a really unique VTuber voice. Pretty sure it does. We don't know for sure who was paired with the corpse wedding. Even after reading the novel, I don't know which scene this art is. Oh. I would have thought that would be like a really big dramatic scene that everybody would instantly see and be like, because I have seen official art of Shizun carrying Moran up the stairs. I did not realize how painful that was until we've actually now gone past the scene. But I have seen artwork of Shizun carrying Moran up the stairs before in the blood trail, and I always just thought, shit, Shizun's got to go against the cultivation world to save Moran and get whipped or something. That's going to be so sweet and sad. I did not know how far it was fucking going. We reading another chapter? Yeah, we could probably do another chapter. Can't say Mr. without adding in bottom. Mr. Bottom. Done with my clients for the day. What level of pain are we in? We good now. We are watching a woman talk herself into death. It's fine. It's fine. I think she's a sweet baby girl. We're going to see what happens. Mr. and Bottom. Oh, yeah. Pretty sure it... Bojadao. Haha. Meatbun, fun character. They're also digging their graves as we speak. Meatbun's so good at doing that. Writing things out where it's like, hey, isn't this a cute scene? Prepare for the music change. The music change is going to be painful. I was so ready for the music change for once. Anyone has any questions, just ask me. I know everything about Urha. Bao, a wise old master. Hell yeah. 4 chapters? This is the 4th chapter, isn't it? Yeah, it's wild. We finally have a night. Yeah. I want to have dinner at 7:30. We're having spaghetti tonight. Spaghetti is great. But yeah, we can do one more chapter. Thank you for the hydrate. The cuddle pile is now doubling as a popcorn pile. Yeah. We eating our melon seeds. Oh, I forgot to do emotes this whole fucking time. I'm sorry, guys. Welcome everyone to the House of Copper Hounds who resubscribed. I'm throwing out Cuchallain melon. Because, yeah, we're watching a girl dig her own grave. You got no spiritual power. Ba-ba-ba-ba. And it all is straight up dying as he carries him up those steps. Yeah. Literally, it said he was dragging him on his hands by the end. Oh, it's so fucked. Look at all those adorable coos eating melon. Blinking his eyes and just, you know, quieting himself. He said, don't worry about it. She gonna die. It's fine. Chapter 101. Shizun. The last flame in this world. Oh, that's fucking powerful. Holy shit. So what I'm getting from this is book 1's chapters have all been titled being read by 0.5 moron. It's always been like, this venerable one, blah, 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 blah. And now book 2's chapters are all moron, I guess 1.0, or is this 2.0? That's what I don't get. There's a 1.0 and there's a 2.0, and I still don't know. Does this count as 2.0 now that Shizun's dead? Or is this 1.0 who's now aiming towards a redemption arc to become 2.0? Don't tell me. Do not tell me. But either way, this is a different moron timeline who's just like, Shizun. I wish I could have saved him. I guess then, yeah, I shouldn't be reading it as Shizun, the last flame in the world. I should be reading it as Shizun, the last flame in this world. Oh, let's go. Yo, that's too deleting. Sorry, that's my bad. I asked that and then I said later, please don't tell me. That's my bad. It's fine. It's not really a spoiler. Meat Bun talks about it in the chapter titles all the time. I just always forget. Sorry, don't worry about deleting them. That's my bad. It's character development. Yeah, it is. And now we're about to get some murder. So let's have some fun. I'm sorry, guys. Moron said nothing for a long while. Then he smiled brightly. Let's make this. Yeah, this should be good. Yeah. A pavilion serving only one master is a good tale, huh? Well said. His shapely feet trod casually across the ice-cold surface of the stone floor, the blue vein on top flexing as he came to a stop in front of Song Chiao-tong. Then, Moron lifted one foot and tipped Song Chiao-tong's chin up with his toes, forcing her to look up at himself. Holy fuck. This is so evil, I love it. You've been keeping all this bottled up for quite a while, He looked at her frightened, panicked face with a smile. Empress Song, you know there were a number of things in the past that I never asked you about. Since you're feeling so generous with these words from the bottom of your heart today, why don't we just let it all out? Come, let's have a nice chat. Let's start with the most recent one. The day I went to Tashui Palace, I clearly remember locking Chuan Ning in the sleeping palace before leaving. So tell me, how did he appear at Kunlun Mountain? Just who let him out and allowed for him to come find me? Song Chiao-tong's entire body shuddered. She said, I don't know. She was in such a panic to explain herself that she even forgot to say this one, slipping into I instead. Oh, fuck. I forgot about this. You know what? You guys might be right about her being evil. I forgot that we also got one flashback from Chuan Ning's dreams, where he was locked outside in the cold. And Chuan Ning's manservant was trying to protect him and trying to light a fire for him. But the lady servant of Song Chiao-tong was trying to make sure that he died in the snow. Oh, fuck. That's my bad, guys. I forgot how dark life was for him. It wasn't just Tashui and Jun. He was being murdered from all directions. Moron said with a smile. All right. You don't know about this one. Next one, then. That year when I made you Empress, I also assigned you to manage Sushang Peak. And then I had to go to Yin Mountain afterwards to take care of some stuff. Chuan Ning was being disobedient at the time, so I had him locked in the water prison to reflect on himself. Song Qiaotong's face grew pale as he brought up this matter, and her lips began to quiver. Using prison inspection as an excuse, you went to visit him, but were thoroughly scorned by him. Yes, Song Qiaotong said hurriedly. But, Your Majesty... Aran, I've already told you about this incident back when it happened. Xu Zongshu has told me to get lost in such a disparaging manner, and then even proceeded to insult not only myself, but Your Majesty as well. I couldn't hold back my anger at the time, This venerable one knows, Moran said faintly. You couldn't hold back your anger at the time, but Chuan Ning had committed grave crimes, and his punishment couldn't be arbitrarily increased without this venerable one's permission. So you carried out a minor discipline, had all 10 of his nails pulled out, and stinging thorns inserted into the tip of each finger. Murder is okay. Occasionally. Ripped all 10 of his fingernails off and inserted stinging thorns. And he was... Oh, and Moran let this fucking happen. Moran let this fucking happen. Oh no. Tess Tiger Gal, thank you so much for following. Welcome to the House of Copper Hounds. You came at a painful time. Girl's about to be murdered. We're fine with it now. We're on Taxian Jun's side in this one. This is going to be a good fire. This is going to be a good roast. Roast the bitch. Fuck it. Burn the witch. Song Qiaotong's eyes were filled with panic as she scrambled to say, Your Majesty, you praised me for doing well when you returned. Moran smiled. Oh, did I? You said that those with a foul mouth should be treated exactly so. And you even told this one that the punishment was a bit light, that if he speaks rudely again in the future to break his fingers. Her voice trailed off as she spoke until, in the end, looking at the terrifying smile on Moran's face, she collapsed to the ground with tears in her eyes. Aran! Moran let out a soft sigh. He smiled. Qiaotong, that was so long ago. This venerable one no longer remembers what he said or didn't say back then. She'd already guessed Moran's intention just now, but her body still shuddered violently at his words. This venerable one's been having dreams lately. Dreams about that day, returning from Yin Mountain and going to the water prison to find him with both hands festered and covered in blood. Moran spoke slowly, but his voice suddenly tightened toward the end and a cold light flashed in his eyes. This venerable one was not happy. Song Qiaotong said helplessly, Your Majesty! Your Majesty! No! Aran! Let me explain! Please calm down and let me explain! This venerable one was not happy. But Moran only continued on as if he had heard nothing, lowering his face, devoid of any expression, to look coolly at the woman huddled on the floor. Indulge me a bit, won't you? His expression, like frost and snow, paired with such a haughty request, gave Song Qiaotong goosebumps and made her scalp go numb in spite of all of her years at his side, with a life on the line like cohabiting with a ferocious tiger. She could smell the scent of the coming storm. Lifting her dark brown eyes, she looked meekly up at him as she crawled over and nestled by his ankles. Of course. Anything Aran says. What could I do to make Aran happy? Oh, definitely. Moran leaned over and grabbed her jaw, forcing her face upwards. He put on a lovely, innocent smile, just like the one he wore back when he first saw her at Rufeng Sect, showing twin pools of sweet dimples as he pulled at her sleeve and said, Little Shimei, what's your name? Don't be afraid, I won't hurt you. Talk to me, okay? She shuddered. After so many years, with practically the same expression and the same tone, he said something else altogether. He said sweetly and gently, Xiaotong, this venerable one knows you mean it. She'll do anything to make this venerable one happy. His fingertip caressed her soft lips, the part of her that looked most like Xi Mingjing. Moran's eyelashes trembled slightly as he stared calmly at that pair of petal-like lips. In the end, he said, Then go wait for this venerable one on the road to hell. Gently, he asked, Okay. Tears welled past Song Xiaotong's eyes immediately. Not out of sadness, but out of fear. She already knew as soon as Moran brought up her abuse of Chu Wanning back then that it wasn't going to end well for her. But the most she thought it'd be was punishment by the rod or losing her title. She never, not even with all of her courage, thought that Moran would actually... that he could actually bear to... Madman! He's gone mad! He's gone mad! Moran threw his head back and began to laugh in a low voice, his laughter growing increasingly more arrogant and unrestrained. He laughed as he kicked open the door of the sleeping palace, laughed as he strode outside. He'd always tread with abandon, had trampled countless lives, and now it was her turn. He's gone mad! He's gone mad! Mo Yu has gone mad! Song Xiaotong collapsed to her knees on the floor of ice-cold stone and golden bricks. The passion of intimacy within the sleeping palace had not yet dissipated, but the fires of hell had already begun to burn. With her mouth hanging open and her head tilted back, she struggled to look at the sky outside the palace. It was the break of dawn and the sky was the color of blood, dyeing red her bloodshot eyes. In the distance, she heard Moran call as casual as if he was ordering dinner for the day. Guards, take the Empress away. Your Majesty! Came the panicked reactions of the retinue outside. Your Majesty, this! Toss her in the cauldron and fry her alive. Song Xiaotong suddenly couldn't hear anything more. Like she'd sunken deep into the sea. Couldn't hear anything anymore. Fry her alive? Fry her alive? Oh, that's him. Fry her alive. Fry her alive. It'll be a lively good time that way. He walked further and further away. I see you up there. Sorry. The sound of his laughter and shouting lingered over Susheng Peak like an overflying eagle for a long time. The rising sun cast a long shadow behind him, a lonely figure on the ground. Slowly, he walked. At first, there almost seemed to be the silhouettes of two youths standing with him and a tall man in white robes. Then the two silhouettes disappeared, leaving only the white robes to accompany him. He kept walking, and the white-robed man also disappeared into the golden dawn. The rising sun was pure and unblemished, and it took away those who were similarly pure and unblemished, leaving only him alone in hell, in an ocean of blood sinking into the masses of ghosts and fiends, leaving only him, all alone, getting lonelier and colder the further he walked. He walked until he felt like he was already dead, that he had already died, becoming more and more deranged the further he walked. Moran remembered during the year before he took his own life that when he looked into the copper mirror, he couldn't even recognize the monster staring back at him sometimes. He even remembered the night before he died, when he sat inside the bamboo pavilion at the Red Lotus Pavilion, with only an old servant keeping him company. He had lazily asked that old servant, Liu Gong, what kind of person did this venerable one used to be? He continued on without waiting for an answer, staring at his reflection in the pond. This venerable one didn't used to wear his hair like this when he was young, much less this tasseled crown, right? Liu Gong answered with a sigh. It is as your majesty said. The crown and hairdo were at the recommendation of Empress Song after your ascension to the throne. Oh, you mean Song Chiao-tong? Moran sneered and tipped his head back to take a drink of pear blossom white. Did I really used to listen to her suggestions? Maybe because the end was near, and there was no more need to worry about accidentally prickling the Emperor's sore spot with a stray word and losing his head. But the drooping old man spoke the candid truth. With his eyes downcast and his head... Shit. That's changing music. With his eyes downcast and his hands tucked into his sleeves, Liu Gong said, Yes, when your majesty first ascended the throne, Empress Song was quite favored. There was a period of time when your majesty did everything the empress asked. Did your majesty forget all of it? Forget? Moran chuckled. I didn't forget. How could I possibly forget? After he'd married Song Chiao-tong, someone had leaked her the info that the reason he favored her was due solely to her likeness to the deceased Xu Mingjing. She was a clever person, so she spared no effort looking like Shimei's mannerisms and bearing, subtly exhibiting the same in their daily life as husband and wife, making it seem almost like the dead had come back. How could he possibly forget? Moran smiled mirthlessly, then suddenly took the crown from atop his head and tossed it into the pond without even looking. Startled koi fish leapt from the water, and the person reflected in the water became warped and distorted. Thus distorted, he undid his top knot and let down his inky hair. He leaned by the pond side, letting the rippling, sparkling waters light up his face in a mercurial light. There we go. The crown's gone, and the hair's down. Old Leo, help me think. What does this venerable one still need to return his appearance to before his enthronement? A hair tie, right? Moran looked at his reflection as he said, That blue hair tie commonly worn by the disciples of Sushang Peak. Are there any left in the palace? There is. Your Majesty charged this old one with the safekeeping of the disciple uniform you shed when you ascended to the throne. This old one will go bring it over if that's what your Majesty wishes. Excellent. Go on. Bring the whole set along with the hair tie. Liu Gong left and returned with a stack of old clothes in hand. Moran sat up, and when the tip of his fingers touched the cotton and hemp texture, pieces of the past fluttered up like dried leaves to land on his heart that was full of holes. In a moment of excitement, he picked up an outer robe and tried to put it on. But the clothing of his youth was already far too small, and it wouldn't fit no matter how hard he tried. He flew into a rage. Why doesn't it fit? Why can't I go back? He danced like a beast trapped in a cage, madness in his expression, eyes flickering with a dangerous light. This is the Venerable One's clothing! Is this the Venerable One's clothing? Did you fetch the wrong set? If it's the Venerable One's clothing, then why would it not fit? Why would it not fit? The old servant was already used to seeing his master in the grip of madness like this. He used to think that Moran was terrifying like this. But today, for some reason, he felt that he was pitiful instead. He wasn't looking for clothes. He was looking for himself, the him of the past that could never come back. Your Majesty. The old man sighed faintly. Let it go. You're not that young man of the past anymore. Moran was in the middle of raging, and hearing these words, his head whipped around fiercely to glare at the old man's withered face. But it was as if he was choking on something, unable to get a single word out, only breathing harshly with red-rimmed eyes. A long time passed before he finally spoke. I'm not. You're not. I can't go back. You can't go back. the first time, a childlike helplessness appeared on the face of that 32-year-old man. He closed his eyes, the jut of his throat bobbing. The old servant stood to the side with his head lowered, thinking that once he opens his eyes, he'll surely snarl with his fangs out and shred everything before him. But when Moran opened his eyes again, there was a wetness in them. Perhaps it was this wetness that put out the inferno in his heart. Moran opened his mouth, and in a voice that was hoarse and weary murmured, "I see. I see. Can't go back. I can't go back." He put down the robe as if exhausted, sat down by the stone table, and buried his face in his hands. A long while passed before he said, "Then, just tie my hair up." "Your Majesty, why do all this?" "This venerable one's life will end soon. Don't want to be too lonely when the time comes." He kept his face in his hands as he spoke, his expression indiscernible. "I just want to change my clothes and feel like there are still old friends for company." Liu Gong sighed. "That's just make-believe." "Make-believe is fine," Moran said. "Make-believe is better than nothing." Oh, fuck. I love this novel so fucking much. This is written so well. Him going so crazy, bouncing between like crazy, insane laughter and anger, and then sudden realization every now and then where he's just like, I can't go back. I don't have Shizun anymore. Before Shizun died, he always saw it as, it's fine. There's always a way to go back. Shizun can fix anything. I haven't killed Meng Meng because of Shizun. I haven't hurt Mei Han Shui because of Shizun. If nothing else, Shizun will always be able to fix everything and fix me. And now he's finally putting together, he killed his Shizun. He's been lying to himself for so long, keeping the body preserved, but now he's getting it. He's gone. There is no going back. So fuck it. I'm gonna die soon. Or at least pretend that I'm still Moran. That I'm not Mo Wei Yu, Taxian Jun. The evilest person who ever lived. Oh god. He was just so done with the world? Yeah, he's ready to go out. Erha is my favorite novel, but I could never explain why. You can only experience it, yeah? You can only say so much about how emotional Moran's journey is. Through Taxian Jun and hopefully back again. Seeing the cute version of him. Oh god, that's so weird. A cute version of 0.5 him when he was actually a child. The first time he met Shizun. He was just like, Shizun, pay attention to me. And taking that to where he is now. Pay attention to me, Shizun. You're the only one who can fix this. And now you're gone. Oh, man. Easily one of my favorite scenes in the entire novel. The heartbreak I feel whenever I reread it. I can't believe the old man straight up said to him, you can't go back. Like, fuck. That's brave. Yeah. Old Leo telling him he can't go back versus Chu Wanning telling him to go back. It's too bad. He killed him. The best thing he could have done, the best thing he could have done is what he did. He finally realized, well, I guess that's the whole fucking message of the novel, isn't it? That what he did wasn't the best thing. Shizun's whole fucking dying moment was him trying to say, you can still go back, Moran. You can still be that person. Be a good person. Repent for your sins. You're going to get a lot of punishment. They may even straight up kill you. And Taxian Jun couldn't do that in the end. He couldn't apologize. He couldn't let Meng Meng be the hero who showed up and finished him off. He took himself out. God damn. And all Chu Wanning wanted was for him to be the sweet little Moran again. Don't be like Voldemort, repent. Yeah. There's a lot of people in real life that need to repent. Her experience is so crazy, and we're now even on the not even on the craziest parts. Like, if you didn't read her, you can't imagine. The numbness is cracked. Here we are. Yep. Now he's finally broken down, and he's crying, and he's feeling the feels. And thus, the prologue. That was the fucking prologue? Shit, man. Shit. We're only just getting into the real story. It was too late. He just wanted to go back. The most important part, I think, is the first paragraph. Which bit? Of which bit? There's a lot of this. The first paragraph. Do you mean the first paragraph of the original story? Like, overall? I remember that being very poetic. We're taking a short break. Synopsis. No, not the synopsis. No, none of that. There we go. That bit of time before Moran had yet to become the Emperor, there was always someone calling him a dog. The manager called him a son of a bitch. The customer called him bitch pup. His little cousin called him a shitty dog. And his mother was best, saying he was raised by a bitch. Of course, there were other dog-related metaphors that weren't too bad. For example, his one-night stands would always grumble with some petulance that the strength of his back was like that of a male dog. Honey dripped from his lips, luring away the soul, but the weapons down below was robbing the sweetness of her life. Wow. I'm guessing you didn't mean this. I just get down to here, where... There we go. Stared at that ball of foe, possessed no wits, but plenty of energy, and suddenly chuckled, laughing as he called it a filthy mutt. Puppy grew up to become a big dog, the big dog became an old dog, and the old dog then became a dead dog. Before he knew it, 32 years had gone past. Ah, man. That's sad. Hearing all the people calling him a dog. Shizun didn't call you that. I thought it was going to end with Shizun being like, but he called me Moran. Before the prologue, in the prologue, he couldn't take it anymore. Yeah. Old Leo would naturally have the balls to say something to Tashi and Jun because Old Leo was the one who attended to Chuan-Ning. Yeah. He's the one who tried to protect him against the other one. He pulled his long hair back, wrapping the hair tie around it once, twice. And he picked up a hair clasp with faded edges from the pile of old clothes, thinking to clip it to the side of his hair like he used to when he was young. But then, looking at the reflection in the water, his hand stilled. Which side? Oh. Which side was it on again? The left or the right? He hadn't used his hair clasp for so long that he could no longer remember. Moran closed his eyes, asking, Old Leo, do you know how I used to wear my hair? To answer your majesty, this old one only came to the palace 2 years after your enthronement. This old one does not know, Moran said. But I can't remember. I need someone to tell me. Where can I find someone to tell me? Moran murmured. Who can tell me what I used to look like? Old Leo let out a long sigh, but couldn't think of a single name. Truthfully, in his heart, Moran also knew that the old man had no answer for him, and so uncertainly, he held back that hair clasp to his left, then his right, before settling on the left side and clipping it there. That seems right, Moran said. Let me go ask him. So he walked toward the inner parts of the pavilion to the side of the Red Lotus Pond where Chuan-Ning's body laid, looking like he was only asleep. Moran sat down on the ground, propping his cheek in one hand as he said, Shizun? The breeze carried the faint fragrance of the lotus blossoms. Looking at that man lying amongst the vibrant, intoxicating red within the pond, with his eyes closed, he suddenly felt like he had a lot he wanted to say, but at the same time, didn't know what to say at all. Toward Chuan-Ning, he seemed to always be full of emotions, but those emotions were too jumbled, contained too many flavors, and amidst the sweet and the sour and the bitter and the spicy, he couldn't tell if he held more hatred towards this person or more of something else. He really, honestly didn't... I lost myself. He really, honestly didn't know how to act towards this person. He'd once told himself that the only reason he kept Chuan-Ning by his side was to vent his hatred and sate his desires. But then Chuan-Ning died, and he still kept this corpse that he could no longer even entwine with. Even the grave had been prepared, but he just couldn't bear to bury him. So he didn't do anything, fair enough. What was the use in keeping this cold, unmoving corpse that couldn't speak? Even he himself wasn't sure. They've already gone through too much, and that tiny, clean thing at the start had already been completely drowned. When Chuan-Ning was still alive, the two of them rarely had any peaceful, amicable days together. But now that Chuan-Ning was dead, a kind of cruel gentleness grew between the living and the dead. Moran came to visit him often, a jar of pear blossom wine in hand, simply looking without saying much. Right now, besieged on all sides, he knew that his life was at an end, and Chuan-Ning's body was the only one left from his past in this Sushang Peak that looked no different, but held none of the same people. The only one who had stayed with him all this time. Moran suddenly wanted to have a nice, long heart-to-heart with this cold corpse. Chuan-Ning was already dead anyway. He could neither protest nor berate him. No matter what he said, he would have no choice but to lie there and listen. When he tried to move his lips, his throat felt tight. In the end, he only managed to say one thing. Shizun, pay attention to me. Oh, no, don't like it, don't want it, no, running away from the fields. Moran should change his name to Cleopatra. Pear wine tastes the same as I remember. But gone are those who could tell, gone are those who shared it with. I don't remember the line, but yeah, same fucking thing. Shizun, pay attention to me. Yeah, it's back. He's like, Shizun, please. Wake up. Please pay attention to me. I'm still here. I'm still Moran. I didn't kill Sherman. I listened to your final fucking request. Oh man, it's been so long since we did a stream over 2 hours. 2.5 hours was good. This is good. There we go. Pear wine tastes the same. But where are those who share the memory? Only Mung Mung, who would not share wine with him. That's the thing. Like, oh, Shizun's final words to him were so fucking powerful, so fucking perfect. Him literally saying, there are still people that you can talk to. Don't kill Mung Mung because he's the only one you can reminisce about the past with. And after everything he did to his Shizun, there's no way in hell he's going to see Mung Mung. Author's notes. Depraved 0.5 is in a craze again, as he is usually. Clutch his face. Who will drag this dog and get him vaccinated for rabies? God damn it. Big White Cat's talking corpse, thanking JJWXC readers. Crazy 0.5 mow away you. Did this venerable one not scare you all yesterday? If so, then thank you all for watching the stream. This has been a lovely time, and I'm glad that I was here with you all. Oh god. This is gonna make me cry again. I fucking hate this. I love this, but I hate this. Maymay Dragon 12, thank you so... Oh shit, Maymay, how are you doing? Thank you so much for resubscribing for the 13th month in a row. Holy fuck. Welcome back to the House of Copperhounds. It's lovely to have you. And you're at just the right time for us to be signing off for the end of the day. Goodbye to the pain of the past. Nobody remembers the taste of the pear wine anymore. Nobody remembers which side he used to put the hair clip in. Oh, Shizun remembered. Shizun remembered. Yo, what's up, Ichika? How are you doing? Yo, it's a flash from the past in here today. How you doing, Miyamoto? Zhongli Supremacy. It's been amazing. I'm so glad we could experience it with you, Ku. You guys were right. First few chapters of book 2. Just as powerful as the end of book 1. Technically more powerful. Book 1 was sad and emotionally devastating in like a present way. And then the beginning of book 2 is powerful and emotionally just devastating in a long-lasting way, where it's just like, oh yeah, no, you thought we were just going to move on from that death. No, now we're going to dogpile you with everything that happened to 0.5 more you. Now we're going to make you cry. We'll now be constructing the raid message. Keep an eye out for it. Thank you, Aleve. You're reading How dare this hurt me? How dare this poke at my masochist self? That's the thing. We keep on reading. We keep on reading. At the ripping out the heart. Vox falling into Genshin Gacha and losing his mind at hearing Zhongli's wine line. That was pretty fun. Vox just being like, getting him for the first time, falling in love with his voice in that line, and then hearing it like 5 more times in about 2 minutes and being like, shut up, Zhongli. Oh, man. Miban wants to set our world on fire or flood it with our tears. I will never forgive Genshin Impact, by the way. I am never again playing Genshin Impact. I played until Zhongli came out. I only wanted my daddy Geo. I put $60 into the game and it saved up so many free rolls. I got my fucking special one for 100 and it wasn't Zhongli. It was a different 5-star. I will never play that game again. Gacha's really nice to me on characters. Weapons take longer. Surprising. You'd think the weapons would come easier. So without speculating on what will happen, what do you want to happen now? I want him to make up for the past. I want him to straight up apologize to Mung Mung. I want him to say, yo, I got our fucking Shizun killed. D, I'm so sorry. I want him to remember Shizun's words from the first life. That he needs to hold on to the people that he can actually talk with. That he can actually remember the past with. And he needs to fucking just prepare for the next fight. Because this probably isn't over. It might be. It might be that the bad guy was only trying to hurt Shizun, but it could be that the bad guy is still trying to take over the whole cultivation world and make them all pay. In which case, he needs to be the hero in this lifetime. Moran 1.0 needs to be Chu Wan Ning's student. He needs to be the best at barriers. He needs to protect the entire world in Chu Wan Ning's place. And only then will he be redeemed for Tashi and Jun. In fact, that's the thing. It's not even about redemption for a person level. It's about him being able to forgive himself and then hopefully go into the afterlife and find his Shizun and say, I'm fucking sorry. I want to be with you in the next life and be happy with you. You were fucking amazing and I love you. Somehow got Ido 50 out of 50. Nice. Ripku. It's currently his 3rd banner. Fuck it! I'm still not doing it. Chinese Zhongli, best Zhongli, just like Shao. A lot of them are really good in Chinese. Hello, this neighborhood. I got beat up in that alley, in that parking lot, and behind that diner. What is that from? Fuck, I remember that. Bye, everyone. Have a good night. This ship is sailing. This was a great stream. Now I'm fired up for my exams. Good luck with the exams, little Messi C. Thank you for the great stream, Ku. Thank you for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful night. I want to respawn. A respawn would be great. I don't think he deserves a respawn right now. I think he needs to suffer a little bit. I think he needs to die painfully while trying to protect everyone else. And then for his 3rd respawn, he does get the proper do-over. And he's just like, you know what? Fuck it. Chu Wan Ning, this is gonna sound crazy. I've been reborn twice. I've taken over the world. I've protected the world. We need to work together. There's a great fucking evil trying to kill us all. Oh, man. I'm getting every character I don't know how. Yo. Mung Mung isn't that Mung Mung anymore. Yeah, now he's a broken Mung Mung who just wants his girl. That's the thing! Mung Mung broke in such a way that he was like, I fucking hate you for bad-mouthing Shizun. But there's only 3 of us. Only 3 of us in this entire world that can call him Shizun. And so there wasn't any resentment at the end of it. It was just, our Shizun is dead. Our Shizun is gone. He needs to mend with Mung Mung. I really like Mung Mung. The fact that Mung Mung in the first timeline not got together with Mei Han Shui. Let's not make the ship sail that much. Managed to work with Mei Han Shui, somebody who he clearly hates so much throughout his entire life, just to try and save his Shizun. Oh, man. Ku dragging Moran by the scuff of his neck to Mung Mung. Apologize to Mung Mung. Exactly. Reminds me of the one other Kazuya I remembered when I was typing. Oh, he's a pretty boy too. Tried to pull Shin her. Moran is Mung Mung's gur. He needs to be a proper gur. Exactly. Will there be more read-throughs this week? There will. I'm not sure when. I can't remember my schedule. I definitely have something to do tomorrow night. I'm not sure if I have something to do the night after that. So it may be 2 days or it may be 3 or 4 days. We'll definitely be having more streams this week, whether it's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or like we'll be back immediately on Wednesday. Don't know. Yo, that's a cute raid message, Leave. I like that. Hello from the House of Copper Hounds. Mind if we join you? That's hard, man. It's always Gene for me. Captain America, the first Avenger. I keep thinking about when her meat bun is always pain. What? Oh, that's from Captain America. Oh, okay, yeah. I know this neighborhood. I got beaten up over there. And behind... Yeah, that's Steve. That's Steve all over. Chewing is that Jurassic Park meme with the 3 raptors holding off all of the moron updates. Ringe rambles. That's perfect. Him just standing between the 3 of them like, you calm down, horny dog. You be a good boy. And you, stop trying to kill yourself. That's my job. Mung Mung is the hidden protagonist of this novel. Yeah. Don't be the emperor. Just be my girl. Oh, that's so sweet. Mung Mung is always Team Shizun, and I love him for it. Even though Shizun loves Moron more. I think that's really cute as well, that Mung Mung recognizes that Moron's his favorite student. And he doesn't have any fucking anger about it. He's like, yeah, Moron loves him. I'm still his student. We love each other. We are cousins. He's my girl. I'm going to be stronger than him someday. Not sure how I'm going to do it. He got a spiritual weapon. I didn't. It's just hacks. I'll claw my way to the top. The world has changed and none of us can go back. All we can do is our best. Sometimes the best that we can do is to start over. This quote is what I hear when you want Hashi and Jun to apologize to Mung Mung. If only. If only. We'll see how it goes in the future. But with that said, I think we're ready to end this stream. I gotta get me some pescati. I'm so hungry and I can smell it. I hope you guys had a good stream. Let's kill that sad music and let's make the slightly sad but kind of happy music. The kind of hopeful music for a better tomorrow. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you had a wonderful stream. We are going to raid. Yeah, we could do Zelda CW today. What is CW streaming? We didn't do her last time, so we could do it this time. Go check her out. I'm sure she's doing some beautiful art. Probably some Lunar New Year stuff. I see some... Yeah. I see all the Mo Shang Tongshu couples. She's doing a big Lunar New Year special. So awesome. Let her know how much we love her. Thank you so much to Aleve for writing the raid message. And I will see you guys next time. Everyone have a lovely night. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you guys next time.